Hello, everybody. Welcome to the original Next Level Gaming Podcast. I am Mike Mullis. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on another Sunday night, and thank you everybody who is there watching us live for coming in knowing that we were running late today. Quite simply, it's very easy. Tonight's first night of the Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah. Everybody who knows me knows I'm Jewish. And we had services this evening that lasted till 9:30. So as you can see, I'm not even wearing a gaming shirt tonight. I ran right home in my
stick a decal on that thing.
Yeah, there we go. And so we appreciate everybody who's hanging out with us an hour late today. Thank you guys so much. All right, what is up, my wonderful panel? Look at it. Look at all those smiling avatars.
Yeah, that's the way to have it.
So we got the crazy Juan 77. Mr. Juan, how are you doing this week?
Doing great. Loving the Forza Horizon 3. It's consuming my soul, and I love it. So that's all I need right now.
Very, very nice. And Mr. Jason Wickman, the Mod Zoo himself, the great Mod Zoo.
Oh yeah, how's it going, Mike?
Mr. Content, I'm going to start calling you.
I love gaming. I love getting those videos out, you know? Play something different every day. At least I try to.
It is awesome. You know how much I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I do.
And it really, I'll tell you who really appreciates it are all the developers who are getting the great coverage from you.
As long as they love the content, and everybody, of course, in the chat room loves the content, I am happy.
Well, that's awesome. Then we have direct from California. He is the beautiful
Mr. Sunshine.
one. The beautiful one. Joe, Western Drake 20. What's up, brother?
Oh, what's up, man? How you guys doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Oh, man.
How you settling in?
Good, man. Feels good to be out here. And like I said, I love it how I have a jacuzzi out there and a pool, and I could just go out to that any day when I start getting stressed out or whatnot, when life starts taking over.
Yeah, but it's California.
I love it, man.
Wait, getting back into the swing of gaming?
Yeah, I was going to say, too, public announcement for everyone. I'm going to start getting back into streaming and stuff like that. I actually have been kind of having an itch to do it. As soon as Gears of War comes out, I'm getting my early copy of it on the 7th and stuff like that. But me and HDK are going to run through it, and you guys should start seeing streams and YouTube videos pop up of me and him running through it on the 11th when it comes out. Until then, I'm going to be streaming Horde mode, and I'm going to be streaming the multiplayer. So
cool.
Nice. Yeah, I know you've been waiting on that. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. And then finally, last but absolutely never least, he's in the podcast.
Yeah, he sure is. Hey, Mike.
Peter,
hey,
what's up, brother?
Oh, man.
Mr. Drivatar.
Mr. Drivatar. Everybody loves my Drivatar, so I'm glad that's working out.
Taking me out.
Hey, that's a little bump drafting. That's
bump draft.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, as long as you're earning people money, eh? All those other people that have you as their Drivatar helper or whatever.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man, that game is super fun. And I just found all 488 roads, so mission accomplished.
Man, talk about consuming of the soul.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good Lord. So, and thank you, HTK. So we just get right into games. Thank you for creating the NLG Forza crew. Now, Peter has been on the forefront of creating NLG. He's almost we gotta figure out a like a title for you, like social media manager or something like that.
Very complicated title for
assistant to the regional social media manager.
Hey,
Just give him a big long title that means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nobody. I think I'm the only one who got that reference, Juan.
That happens when you're old.
I know. Well, or when you watch a show that maybe no one else watches.
It's true.
I don't know how, because that show did extremely well for many, many seasons. I don't know how anybody did not see The Office.
Yeah, I was always a huge fan of it.
I actually never watched it.
You never watched The Office?
Clips
My
of it.
goodness.
No, I'm out of the loop. I don't watch much TV unless it's hockey, and more hockey.
Well, but it shows off the air, like, you know.
I do watch baseball.
Yeah.
I like baseball.
Yeah,
too.
by the way, I think it's going to be Toronto and Baltimore for that.
Yes, for the wild card. Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit's out. It's just the two of us.
Yep.
Just the two of us. Somebody sing that. I'm not a singer.
Look who just joined.
We have an invader. Somebody hit the alarm. Get security. It is Anchorman. What is up, man?
How you guys doing?
Good. How you, Anchorman?
Anchorman appears.
Wild.
Crazy one. I realized, like, we've known each other for, like, what, 2 years? We've never spoken to each other.
Not in person, no.
That's when the thing happens.
This is what happens on the NLG podcast. We bring people together.
Brotherly love.
So we got a rockin' chat room already. Want to thank everybody who's in there. Man, got some great people. Maddie Monk, Gabriel's in there tonight. I haven't seen Gabriel in a while. It's great to see him in there. Our good friend Super Cooper, who I guess he changed his name because he's no longer OG Juan. So he's officially, we had Anchorman in the chat room, but he has decided to invade our podcast. And Digital Wildfire.
She's still in timeout?
No, I took him out of timeout. I know.
Okay.
And of course, the
Sit him down.
He's in there tonight. And so we got a great chat room. And as always, I expect our chat room to be.
Fastback just jumped in, too.
Fastback just showed up, too.
Did you mention Matt? Matt's there.
And Matt is in there.
Yeah.
So we're going to, Matt and I are going to talk about some things for him. I know we're a little heavy in the podcast now, but Matt has given me the idea even before like the podcast and stuff, that he wanted to do some streaming for us. So, with Joe being now 3 hours behind, plus the some of the auto streaming we can do, which we're going to get to, some of the new Twitch stuff. I think that we can get Matt into a real nice content role. So something where he can really show off his talent.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna figure out some stuff for him and get him rolling. He's a big Gears guy too, so maybe maybe Joe can take him under his wing for some Gears.
Maybe.
So, all right. So we got a great chat room going, and they know how much that we love them, because honestly, they're the ones who we're talking to. And so you guys, as always, if you have stuff that you want to add to our conversation, we'll try to get you in. And if there's anything that you want to ask us that we can answer for you or talk about, we'd love to. So if you are watching this afterwards and you're not with us live for whatever reason, you got to get in here on Sunday nights and be part of this. But if not, leave us a comment below. I don't get a chance to say that enough. And just let us know what you think. Let us know about the reactions to what we're talking about. If you have any kind of critique, anything you'd like us to do, we are here for you guys. All right, so I want to start off with the games of fall. And I almost said that I started out by saying the games of October, but we gotta get Forza Horizon 3 in here, because holy cow, what a game. Now, I'm going to just kind of let you guys talk a little bit, because you guys have all gotten a hell of a lot more time in it than I have. I know HTK was an early adopter. Juan, were you an early adopter?
You have to go with the enhanced or the ultimate edition one, the Forza game.
Yeah. All right, so I'm a look
beta testers.
You
making
spent
sure it's bug free for me.
Yeah, you spend $100. You spent $100 on that game. The floor is yours, guys.
It sucks because I bought it too, and I had to end up leaving after I bought the $100 edition. I played like the first night, and I had to leave to come over to California. So I was like, oh man. $100, didn't get my 4-day early access. Technically, it sucked.
You still do okay on the car packs and things, though.
Yeah, I didn't buy the game, the Ultimate Edition, for the early access though.
Oh yeah, neither did
It's
I,
a nice perk, but
yeah.
Yeah, no, I did the full 100 and no regrets.
No.
Oh, by the way, let me do this too before we get started. While we're talking, I want to make sure I'm going to do this the way I did this before. As I had tweeted out earlier too, we are going to be giving away tonight a copy of Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which is on the. Of course, it's an Xbox 360 game, but it is also, thanks to when it came out on Rare Replay, backward compatible with your Xbox One. So in essence, it's an Xbox One game too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, if I can here, I'm trying to, I got to get it a different way. I'm going to log into my Xbox website, and I'm going to try to grab the code in text form, and I'm going to, throughout the podcast, I'm going to shoot into the chat room one piece of the code. And if you are lucky enough to get all 5 pieces, just let me know. Whoever gets a chance to turn it in, and good luck to you, gentlemen and ladies.
Oh man,
that's nice.
Kazooie, you have to collect all the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the pieces. You got to collect the jiggies. Yeah, that's crazy.
So. And we're gonna start actually.
And since you're talking about giveaways, I'm gonna plug out
I was just about to tell you to do that.
giveaway as well.
I'm gonna
just get us over 600 subscribers, and there is a bonus if we get over 600 subscribers before this giveaway is over. We actually have a better giveaway after. I don't know if I should tell you what it is now, or maybe I'll tease it a little bit. I mean, this is a good giveaway. I mean, a fantastic one.
Give us a letter.
I mean, it's giving me tingles, all over. Ooh, such a nice.
Give us a hint.
You want a hint? It has something to do with what I'm giving out now.
Ooh. Huh.
So something to do with it. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Man, I almost.
Are we excluded, Matsu?
Yes, we should be excluded. Friends and family.
Yes. All NLG podcast members are excluded, but you can tweet it out.
That means you too, Drake.
Yeah.
Well, just to wrap up the Forza 3 talk from my point of view, I just want to put a couple things out there about Forza 3. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna.
The Horizon 3.
All right, go ahead. I'm gonna put for the nuts and bolts. I am putting the first code into the chat room right now. The rest of the code I will not announce. I'm just gonna put them in there at random
Claimed
times.
I already got it. It's mine.
So yeah, no, the thing that I'm finding the most impressive about Forza Horizon 3 there is the multitude of things you could do. I had a day off, and it basically absorbed that day because I was painting the new car I got, or I was chasing the barn find, or I was going after someone's rival time, or I was expanding my, getting more fans to expand my festivals. It's just there's just no end to things you can do in it. I would like to put out a shout there for the rival boards. The monthly rival boards are changed each month, and I think they're a great way to do that asynchronous multiplayer. Right now, there is nobody on my friends list that is ahead of me on any of the rival boards, and I would like to see somebody beat that and give me something to chase. So anybody listening, friend Crazy Juan on Xbox, and get to those monthly rivals and put me to shame so I can have someone to chase.
All right.
Also, feel free to hit up my store because I do liveries.
I wanted you to talk about that and give out your store because that's some crazy stuff you've got.
Yeah, I do requests. So if somebody wants a particular car with like a retro look, like the John Player Special Formula cars, or the Martinis, which is what I'm personally running this year. I also did. I had a request from the gentleman who gave the 4 rating to the game. He had seen one of my 3-wheelers, the Reliant, in the Martini job. He's like, "Hey, someone should do this car." So I did, and it's got some 600 plus downloads and within 24 hours. Is pretty shocking. I've never seen one go that fast. But yeah, so hit up the store, hit me on Twitter if there's something you like done. I can do just about anything if I get a photograph. So if you have your own ride at home and you want something done like that, just tweet me a photo and I can do something up.
Nice. We gotta get you to do a full like NLG car.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can recreate that logo. How do you? I gotta ask because I have no. I mean, I've been into the decal editor and the vinyl editor maybe 2 or 3 times. And how do you go about making those so that they look like? I remember the car you did a car for the NASCAR expansion for Forza Motorsport 6, and you had our old logo on there, and it was dead perfect. How long does it take you to do that?
That's mostly I do kind of simple stuff. I'm not an artistic person at my core. I don't have creativity, but things that are simple graphics, text, things like that, you just do it by layers, and you just pick a letter, pick a size, pick a font, and just layer it out, and then you make a group out of that, save it. That way later you can just chuck it onto a car as one piece. People like the Forza Liver guy out there on Twitter, and of course on the game. Stella Stig, I think was the name. A lot of really, really talented content creators out there doing crazy stuff with layers, and transparency, so they can do, full photorealistic pictures of people and things like that. That's way beyond me. But given a picture of an old racing car with some stripes and some words on it, I can make that happen.
Nice.
You ought to do a video.
Yeah, that's something I could consider doing. I mean, at least to show the basics. I mean, like I said, you can go online and you can find the ones who really do the knockout stuff, and they do like even time lapse for it, and it's really a very powerful tool. You can do some crazy stuff with it, but that's beyond. I can't get that. Like, my brain doesn't know where to start making a face out of layers.
No, but there are people who might want some of that basic tip. That all I want to do is just make something simple. And I've watched those videos, and my brain melts while I watch them. So, maybe I could coax you into making a beginner style video, and just something that gives, maybe even people like me who also have no artistic creativity, just something to feel like we can make a car.
Yeah, I can definitely put something together. And I saw in the chat that Super Cooper mentioned tuning tips. The tuning that I do is pretty basic stuff. I usually don't do a lot of the detailed tuning unless I'm getting deep into chasing rival times. A lot of times the automatic tune gets you pretty well by for just playing single player stuff. But basic tips is I like to build for momentum. I like to build for grip. It's a little bit harder for Horizon because the drivatars are a little crazier. They're a little more aggressive than in the motorsport game. So it's tougher to run a clean race. But I like to build, where cornering matters more. So wide tires, race compounds, soften up the rear springs for a rear-wheel drive car. If anyone wants to tweet me or DM me about questions like that, I do a bit of hobby racing in life. It's grassroots stuff, but that comes into play, knowing stuff about it. So anyone is welcome to DM me on Twitter or on Xbox Live or join a multiplayer or whatever. We can talk about that.
Nice. All right. Well, HTK, you've put some serious time into this game too, and all the things you've been doing. And I think you played against PC guys.
Yes, I did. I played against one of my friends, and he played on PC, and you can't tell. You can't absolutely tell if he's on PC or not. I mean, he told me, so that's how I discovered he was. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty neat, pretty seamless.
So what else have you been getting into with it?
Well, as I said, like, I've discovered all the roads, and it's the same thing as. It's not as bad as the Forza Horizon 2, where I missed like one tiny little road, and it took me forever to find a tiny little pixel on the map. And but I mean, the races are great. The stuff to do is like it's huge. I mean, I still haven't touched everything yet, and also like the online, racing here with some guys here in the chat room too, and we're hooking up and doing races. Or it's just fantastic. A lot of fun.
And once again, you are the creator of the NLG crew, who has you guys. Now, I've been just busy with pre-Jewish holiday stuff and all the prep that I have to do, because I'm the music director at the synagogue, so I haven't been online as much as I've wanted to, just because it's just been busy. But you guys told earlier, how many people are in the club now?
said
I
like
don't
around
know.
158 or something last
Yeah,
time you checked.
157 or 158, something like that. Yeah,
In our club, 158 gamers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
That's-
All right. I raised my cup of wild cherry Pepsi to you guys.
Well,
That's
sure. Well, I got
fantastic.
H2O, so I raised my bottled water.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot more water, but tonight I just wanted a soda. I've been trying to eliminate as much of my uptake of soda as I can. So I've been doing, but tonight I felt the need because I'm exhausted and I need the caffeine. So, but Drake, you've been getting in though and racing around. So give us your run through.
Yeah, I think the game is definitely it's pretty good. Usually when it comes down to like the tuning, I don't really mess around with it, and I don't really like upclass cars like a lot of people like to do. I'll usually like put it to its full potential, and that's it. Like I'll max it out to that class, and that's
Same
it.
here.
But I've been having fun with like a lot of the off-road races. I really like the buggies and stuff like that. I think it's creative. The problem that I have for me is I feel like the first one was too much on-road. The second one was too much on-road. This one's too much off-road. There's not enough like of spots where I feel like comfortable where I could use my Ferraris, because like I told you guys know I'm an avid Ferrari collector in these games, and I feel like it's fun to be able to drive the cars on here and stuff like that on the dirt, but also I kind of wanted a little bit more realism at the same time, to where I feel like I'm actually driving a Ferrari. You should be spinning out a lot more than you do in this game and stuff like that whenever it comes down to sand and driving Ferraris or Lamborghinis and them. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty solid. Like you were talking about the other day, the fireworks are like fantastic in the game. The night times look really good. It's pretty solid. I definitely can dig it, man. This is one of the games. This and Gears are the two games that I'm going to be hitting up hardcore this holiday season.
Nice. So Anchor, did you get it? You got a copy of it?
Yeah, I got a
Finally,
copy
right?
of it. A couple good guys actually pitched in a lot of money to help me get the game, and I'm absolutely having a blast with it. I want to thank Mr. Inferno and Sega Forever and Cycle Gamer definitely for helping me out, and it's been an absolute blast.
It was really funny because Inferno messaged me and said, "Are you guys trying to help Anchorman win a copy of Forza?" Because I saw that, and so we pitched in some money. So I'm like, well, it's the first I've heard of it, but you know, if we were any bit of an inspiration to help you get the game, that's
I was
wonderful.
jumping in on all the contests, letting Anchorman know about every single one I saw. So
You are such a
maybe I started the whole thing. I don't know. I just thought I'd be a good friend and
Probably.
try to help him out.
Yeah. We tried.
you guys are such good people. You guys are just such good people. How did I get lucky enough to get surrounded by a group of great gamers like this? This is just
I have
what we,
no idea.
you know.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out.
Thanks for taking that moment and
Just crush it.
That's why you keep me around. So, speaking of games of fall, does Lost Odyssey count as a game of fall then? For Xbox One?
Well, it's now backward compatible.
I had missed it entirely, and so I took the opportunity to get a reservation in before GameStop jacked the price up and picked it up on the way home just to have it. And you know, I'm an hour and change into it. It's interesting. When I need a breather from Horizon eventually, I'll probably do that next.
I remember it. I don't remember how much of it I played.
It's very JRPG, which will turn some people off, but I go back with the JRPGs all the way to, you know, Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior. I was playing that at work today, actually, but I'm a fan of JRPGs, so it's nice to get a hold of one that was pretty decent for the Xbox.
Well,
They're
this was
far between there.
This was Mistwalker too. I mean, this was Hironobu Sakaguchi, and you know it was like a big deal when that game came out. It was in 07. I was just kind of winding down NLG, the site, and I was kind of, I had taken a year or two off of gaming at that point, so I didn't get a chance to really play it. But I'm thinking of grabbing it because I could use a good RPG myself.
I hear copies are going fast in many places. Like I know people have gone to like 3 or 4 different GameStops in the area and not be able to find a copy.
Oh man, no, you don't even understand half of it. I was talking to a couple of guys because I was at work when they announced that it was Lost Odyssey was going to come, and I remember I got a call from one of my friends at GameStop, and he was saying that like, hey, you want a copy of this? I was like, no, I'm good. He's like, all right, it's $10. So I'm like, all right, fine, and I just got off work and I was like, I'll check and see what's going on over here. Whatever there was went up to $15.
Yep.
Damn.
Is it in a digital store or not?
No.
Yeah, I thought it was.
No. They said that it was like their only physical copies. They were going to count for it.
Damn.
Yep.
Oh wow.
It will.
And that was why they raised the price.
Yeah, to my understanding, the game will install and do the full, because the backwards compatibility requires the patching of the game or installing of it. It should operate off the first disc, is my understanding. I haven't gotten far enough to verify that, though, to make sure they didn't, want the second disc after that, for example. But from what I understand, it's doing the full install off the first disc. It's a 22 gig install. So, I mean, that's fairly large for that era, right?
Well, because it's 3 discs, isn't it?
4 disc.
4 discs.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why you can't get it digitally. I don't know how you would.
I have no idea why.
Could be that or a licensing thing. Most things are usually licensing things.
Yeah, because you install like all the 4 discs, so it's digital could work.
I don't know. I will have to ask.
But yeah, it's probably a licensing thing.
That would make sense if they. I don't know.
Same like the Forza, the original Horizon being delisted, of course, is licensing thing most likely.
That doesn't make any sense either. I'm gonna have to ask. So for those who don't know, while we're talking about Forza 3, or because we talked about Forza 3, the original Forza Horizon on the Xbox 360 is actually being delisted from the game store, from the digital side of the store for Xbox, and I guess that's why they gave it away as the games with gold. And licensing is the only thing I can think of because of the music and the cars and stuff like that. But it doesn't. I don't know. I don't understand why they would delist it from there, but you could still buy it from us. I don't know. That was weird to me.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the licensing wasn't, and that's the other thing, if the licensing was a big issue that they'd have to delist the game, why make it backward compatible? That was the whole point of backward compatibility, or lack of backward compatibility for some games because of licensing issues. So they obviously got the licensing taken care of, or maybe they didn't.
I don't know if those kind of things happen in time.
Talking about the Lost Odyssey thing, I don't know why that would be delisted unless it was an argument about, okay, whether or not it can come to the Xbox One platform via backwards compatibility. Not so much of the game, being taken off the store or whatever, but just it might just be to that extent. But for Horizon thing, it doesn't make any sense to me at all because, you can't buy it anymore. But yeah. I also don't understand exactly how the licensing issues work.
Yeah, but I guess the digital packaging is a different medium than a disc, and maybe that's why.
That could be.
We'll have to ask Mike or somebody.
Yeah, I think I'm going to shoot off.
Yeah, Mike, tell us.
I don't know that they'll answer, but I can.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Frankie's
in the chat room.
The Trek hater.
Right, the Trek hater. Frankie, who should, be in that 7th spot down there in the thing, but couldn't make it tonight because of something. I forgot what he said they were doing. So he's in the chat room.
Drinking, who knows?
Right, some kind of concert. So, and De Niro Primero, who, as you know, is one of the gentlemen responsible for one of our graphics.
Yep.
The image that you see at the end of every podcast intro video, which by magic seemed to work this week.
Which was good. I like that.
Yes, he
It
came in.
worked.
Yes, he came in just to say "Go Raiders." So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks. that was a very frustrating afternoon.
Wasn't great for Lions fans either.
Gotta love sports.
Yeah. so yeah, as Maddie says, we have an all-star chat tonight, and that's because of all the great people in there. So, all right. So, Lost Odyssey. So now we get to the Titans of the fall. Like how I did that.
Buttons.
All right. So let's start with the big games that we know about and who's getting what and who is excited for what. So let's start with Titanfall 2. We are getting down to it. I believe the game went gold.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually have it. It's actually on preload.
All right. So Anchor's ready for it. So
Anyone else?
anyone else?
Crickets.
Crickets.
I'm still not getting it.
Yeah, I'm still
Still
out
not getting
too.
Are you
Although
mad
I
because
did-
the producer like green?
No, we're not.
Not that.
We're not talking
Shush.
about that.
Shush.
Wait, I'm sorry. I should have told you when I tweeted you that we're not talking about that.
All right.
Not your fault.
That's
Not
why
your
Anka
fault.
joined.
Right, he came just to. Yeah.
He will sign up.
No.
So-
We're not tackling that. That's not what we do. So I even watched the single player trailer that came out, and I just that I'm out. Now. It may come to at some point. It may come to the Vault. If it comes to the EA Access Vault, of course I will try it. But I can't. I just for no reason of any nefarious sort other than to me, it's just not Titanfall.
Yeah, that's exactly why
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
only reason. Nothing else has changed my mind about it. Just the game itself and how I played it.
But Anchor, give us your take on it. Why are you excited for? Why did you download it, or why did you buy it?
Here's the thing. I was a alpha tester for the first game. Even before there was a closed alpha, I was a part of the alpha program even before then. And I love the first game a lot. And I was really worried about the technical test. And the first weekend, I despised the game. It was a kind of common knowledge that I hated Titanfall 2. Enough so where I exhausted all my contacts with Respawn to talk to them and say this needs to change. And what sold me on it was they announced the changes within 1 week. That it happened so quickly that they listened to everyone's complaints so expertly, and that's what really sold me on it. Is that they were going to listen and do what they could to fix the game, even if they disagreed with it.
How so? So what did they?
The first thing that they did for the weekend, I'm just going to tell you what I remember at least. People were complaining the gameplay was too slow. They increased the gameplay. They increased the speed. They changed the momentum up so it's more in tune with the first one. A lot of the complaints were like, oh, that doesn't encourage wall running, which was a valid complaint given the maps that they had. Yep. But they started including maps that had more wall running in the technical test, which was just one map, I believe. And it really kind of fixed that problem, at least for me. What else?
Did they ever address the time to kill?
I'm trying to remember what they said for that. Actually, let me see if I can pull that up. There was like a long list of stuff that they changed. Come back to me in a minute when I find it.
Cool. For me, I didn't go back. I did appreciate their quick response. They did a good job responding, but the weekend that it was back, or it was after the fix, was an overtime weekend for me, so I didn't get much chance to get back into it. My initial impression was pretty poor. I pressed E several times in Titanfall, really dug it, but it just didn't feel that way. And I was really turned off when I read the interview that one of the creatives behind it was talking about, putting lanes in it and forcing conflicts because people were complaining about being killed from the side or from odd angles or randomness as opposed to skill. And that was one thing I really dug about it, is it didn't have lanes. It had that open freedom of movement. So yeah, you could be killed annoyingly by some guy off on the right you never saw, but then, if you're a gamer, you learn and you go, oh, that's the thing that can happen, and now this is what I need to do to be that guy or get that guy. And so that was the challenge. It was the map design was so great, and I just didn't feel that in the test. And then on top of that, I dropped $100 on Horizon 3, and I'm super rich, but I'm not made of that much money, so it's not in the budget right now.
Super rich.
Yeah, I will disagree with you though when it came to the 3-lane. Titanfall 1 always had 3 lanes of combat, but it was relegated just to Titan gameplay. If you were running around as a pilot, you never really saw the lanes because they were a lot bigger.
Yeah,
when you became
that's true.
Titan, you were really restricted just to 3 lanes.
But that was part of the balance. That was a great balance between being a pilot and a Titan, and you were a legitimate threat to a Titan as a pilot. I didn't get that sense in the technical test because I didn't dig the rodeo system or the battery thing. I didn't get it at first, to be fair. Like I was expecting like my typical rodeo where I'm a real threat, and a guy pulls something off, and then it kicks me off the Titan. I'm like, what is going on here? And then he murdered me, of course. The Titan turned around and just swats me. But I just didn't feel that same balance that the first game had between pilots and Titans.
All right, I got the thing now. The changes they made in that first week, the huge changes that they did. They said they increased the airspeed and wall running speed to be faster. They said players you'll have more momentum when you start wall running. You'll be able to chain them more. And these are all things that I actually verified when I played it as well. They also said the biggest complaint that I had, and a lot of people had, was about the Titan meter. That first of all, it was too slow. Like you could play a 10-minute match and no Titans would drop until 8 minutes in, and that was ridiculous at the time. It really it came for your game being called Titanfall for there to be no Titans until 8 minutes in. It was ridiculous.
True.
But what they did instead is they changed it, so we're going back to the Titan timer, where you will automatically get a Titan at a certain point. It's not labeled as a timer anymore, but you can get a Titan. I think it's like within like halfway through the match or something by just sitting there.
Yeah, they did bring the timer back. I remember that.
They brought the timer back. What else is there? They addressed the survivability of the Titans, that they wanted to increase it. And they talk about the rodeo system for a little bit and explain how it worked a little bit more. So they're going to be tweaking a few things with it, but nothing, at least at the time, they said they were just going to tweak a few things. They said Titan dashes will recharge faster, so the Titan gameplay will be faster. They said each, like they did for the first game, each map will feature a different thing, a different type of gameplay more than others. And so they were saying, like with the big open map that was just kind of out there, the big focus was more Titan on Titan combat, and they needed a big open area for that to really happen in. And what was else? So they said each map will showcase a different aspect of Titanfall more, and so that addressed the wall running aspect. They changed the HUD a little bit with the fade. Those were the major changes, and they really, like, for them to do that. That was a big deal.
Yeah, you got to commend them being responsive.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still like the rodeo thing. The whole thing where you pull out the battery and then you gotta chase the battery down, and
you go put it on your Titan, put your door cells into that.
That's too much for me to have to deal with. It's just way too crazy. And then the other thing that got me was, I would hope that they work on the Titan survivability, because there would be times when during the second week of the beta, when they did make some changes, that I would get into a Titan and immediately it would be in explosion mode. Like I couldn't even move. Like I just and so I'm like, well, why even have a Titan? If
Part of
you
that may
can't
have
use it?
been the way they had the Titans be acquired. You could have a team rolling over another team because it was linked more to the kills than the timer. So if there was a team that was just, whomping on another team, they got their Titans up, and they had a Titan advantage throughout without that guaranteed replenish, guaranteed Titan from the other side to maybe turn the tables a little bit or something. You'd be the only Titan on your team with 3 on the enemy team, and you just can't last.
Yeah, and in the notes, Anchor, were they going to bring back burn cards?
They made no mention of burn cards.
Yeah, see,
That's a shame.
I thought
like
the burn
those.
cards made for a great equalizer, because if you were up against a really good team and you were going back into that match, the next match, and you had a burn card for an immediate Titan, I mean that could be what levels a playing field between you and a team that's just whipping your ass that you just want to rage quit on. I mean that was part of what made Titanfall for me so great, is there were so many equalizers to the game. Whether it was the Titans themselves, whether it was maybe I'm not so good at long distance shooting, but I could shoot on the run, or maybe I could do there were things I could be the guy that goes and gets the turrets, and I could contribute. It didn't feel like I felt like I was playing Call of Duty. And I know I got blasted online for saying that, but I felt that way. And I felt like I had no competitiveness in the game at all, like I did with Titanfall 1. And I don't have the time to invest in get good just because, the game has become more of a shoot fest.
Could the Titan or the Call of Duty feel come somewhat from the mode, though? That banking mode led, I think, to more camping than I ever saw in a.
I thought that was
in
an
a regular
interesting
Titanfall
mode.
game.
I
didn't hate it.
liked it.
Bounty hunt.
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of like that one. That was kind
there
of
was a
an
tension
upside
to
of
it.
That was a little different, which I thought that was kind of fun because it created there's the people who farm and the people who try to take out the farmers. Like that,
Right.
that was a little fun, but not as a major, like a major game mode though. And for whatever reason, this is the part that baffled me. Was one of the reasonings behind the hate for Titanfall 2 was, it doesn't have attrition. It's like they only chose 3 game modes to be in the thing. Like they're saying, you think that attrition's not going to be there?
Right.
Well, it looks
They
like
showed
it's
attrition
something-
gameplay. It's like,
Well, it looks like it's something they're adding. I mean, I think they were, from what it looked like, it wasn't originally there.
I
I
don't
missed that,
know
I
about
couldn't
that. I mean, I don't see any evidence that would have said that it wasn't going to be there.
I don't think it was. I think if I, from reading, what they were deciding to do is they made a big deal about the fact that, hey, we're bringing back attrition, but it was after the fact. I don't think attrition was an original game mode for the game.
Yeah, I think the way that they said it sounds like they're bringing they didn't have it in, but it could have been there before. We just don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's not going to be the forefront mode like it was before, but I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. Because I think a lot of people with not with Call of Duty. Why did I say Call of Duty?
Exactly. Thank you.
A lot of people, when it came down to Titanfall, it was the major game modes that lasted. On Xbox, it was largely attrition. Attrition stayed, Pilot Hunter stayed, and Last Titan Standing. Those were the 3 big game modes, even 2 years into its life cycle. You could still find a match in those. Capture the Flag, not so much, even though that's my personal favorite game mode. But
Yeah, it's called Get Your Achievements While You Can. I did mine way back in the day. Got the Capture the Flag, Last Titan Standing, all those. and then just played attrition after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that, and those are the modes that stayed, and those were the bread and butter modes that lasted. PC, I think the only thing you could play, at least from what I'm told, was basically attrition. You couldn't find anything else.
I thought the pilot-only matches were still popular there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to ask Noble. He played the crap out of Titanfall 1 on PC.
Actually, another mode is Frontier Defense. I could easily get into a match of that as well.
Oh, the
Yeah, the little, I guess you say, sentry game or whatever. Hold, make sure they don't blow up your generator or something like that.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that. You only need 4 people, so it's pretty easy to get a match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember at the beginning when we were playing the beta, Joe, that you liked it. Like you thought it was great. Are you getting the game?
If I do, it'll be later on my list. I'm more into like the whole Mafia. Like, why get a game like that? For me, like I prefer to get Mafia or and then Watch Dogs and all those other things like that before I even think about getting, that game. Like that game, it's probably one of the last games on my list, and that's just because, like I said, I'm going to be focused with Gears and Forza. And since I don't have, an overwhelming amount of people who are going to be getting the game, I'm not in any hurry to get it.
Yeah. Broketober is a harsh.
Broketober.
Yeah.
Yeah. Empty wallet Tober.
Yeah, already broke. October just started.
Luckily for me, I've got like four really good band gigs this month, so that covers a few games.
Nice.
Yeah. Like I understand it's hard during October. Like I want to get Mafia 3, but I want to play some multiplayer games first while they're still popular.
While they're still fresh.
Yeah.
So I'll just wait for Mafia 3 for later.
All right. Well, talk to us about Mafia 3, Joe. I mean, because you're that's like big on your list, which is strange.
Yeah, he's excited about it.
Which is strange because you've always said it's more important to have multiplayer than single player. So talk to us about Mafia.
That's the reason why I always say the multiplayers usually are more important to get earlier than like the single players. Is like he just said, you got to play them while they're fresh, and you got to play them while people are still playing on the server, so that you can get the achievements on there if you care about that. I'm not an achievement guy personally, but
get the achievements.
But it's like still, it's that game. It just looks fantastic. I never liked any of the other Mafias, but this one I like how it takes place in New Orleans and stuff like that. And they got they got like the swamps and whatnot, and it takes place back in like the days when there was a lot of racism and whatnot. It's a black protagonist. I think that's pretty cool. And I think that it's like I've always loved GTA. And I think this is like the closest one to any of the GTA games. Like the other ones, the mechanics were terrible to them. This one, the game I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, that looks pretty polished right there compared to some of the other Mafia games. So I'm excited for that. And then like the same thing, I'm more excited. I think, what is it? Watch Dogs is coming out next year, right? Next year?
No, this year.
Oh, this year.
Okay, this year.
That's a November game, I believe.
Okay, yeah, because I'm getting mixed up with some of these delays that are going on. But even then, like Mafia and that, Watch Dogs is going to be good because from what I've seen, it looks really good. The mechanics are a lot smoother than the first one. The first one had, quite a bit of problems with like the character and whatnot. But this guy looks really, really interesting. And plus, I mean, takes place in, what did I say before, Singer? The best state in the United States, California, baby. So.
What?
I'm pumped for that. But
California.
yeah, those are 2 great games, and for anyone who is like on the fence about buying Watch Dogs 2, look in a little bit more into it and give them a second chance because they listen to a lot of fan feedback, and they've taken a lot into account on how they messed up in the first one. for some people, you got to understand too that it's hard to create a new IP. And when they created one, they realized that they messed up, and that's why they took all that fan feedback. And the protagonist is amazing, seamless drop in, drop out co-op, special missions for the multiplayer. Also, they have those. So just like look a little bit more into it. I recommend getting it. Honestly, it's going to be a great game.
I hope so.
Anybody else have it on their pre-order list?
Nope.
No, there's just too many games. Like Battlefield 1, for instance. Woo!
Yeah, I got it
That
on my
single
pre-order list.
player campaign looks so mighty sweet. My goodness.
Oh my gosh. So this gives me sort of I'm in a conundrum now, because you guys all know I was totally down on that game, and then the single player trailer hit, and all of a sudden that came back into the forefront for me, because you guys know I am a single player guy more than I'm a multiplayer guy, although I love gaming with you guys, but I'm more the campaign guy. Oh my god, that looked good.
Well, I'm glad they have some campaign games coming out this year, because if they wouldn't have had some good campaign games coming out this year, I would have said, man, you're in the wrong era, because this is all multiplayer nowadays for the most part.
I know. I continue to believe that I'm getting aged out of this whole gaming thing, but I'm trying to hold on for dear life.
Get the hair dye.
So
Stay in it a little longer.
yeah.
They got a few good woods in them. You know what I'm saying? They still got a few good games. That's what I'm pumped up about too. You know me, Stinger. I am not in any shape or form a single player guy at all. And I actually managed to go out and I got Recore, and I got it. The only reason why I had ended up getting it was because I was like, man, I got Forza, and Recore is something that people have been talking about. So I was like, I'll get it, because this way I could be able to talk a little bit more about it, because I don't like to open up my mouth and not know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting it, and I played it, and let's just put it this way. Within the first day that I got it, they already patched it. Load times in the shifting sands area dropped from like 2 minutes to down like 30 to 40 seconds. So it's even better than it used to be. And the game, one of the things that was discouraging me was people were like telling me that it's not like Jak and Daxter, it's not like it. It's exactly 110% like Jak and Daxter, and that's the thing that I love about it. I love that Jak and Daxter kind of feel with the perfect jumping mechanics and the platforming, and then sliding across and doing all these crazy things that you would never usually do in most platformers. So
yeah. Slide, jump, slide.
Exactly.
Such a nice.
Yeah. See, Gabriel in the chat room, who I'm gonna try to get on next week. He's a good guy, and we're a little long in people here, but I want to try to get him in
is
next
he just
week.
like you? He's all spiffied up and looks nice.
Yeah, Gabe. Gabe. He's a spiffy looking guy. But he's with me, man. Single player for the win. And he had reminded me there was some single player footage that's out there, and apparently when you die, you immediately take over the role of another soldier, like when you're in the big battles. So there are some parts of the campaign where you're not specifically a
you're not Jon
character.
Snow.
Right. You're that's cool. And so that's a really neat thing. Some of the cinematic pieces of that single player trailer were just like wow. I get very few wow moments these days, which is part of what's wrong with this generation. You kind of run out of those kind of we're all right, so here's Titanfall 2, here's Battlefield 1, here's the next game in the list of every game you've ever played. There are very few wow moments for me. There have been some wow moments in that trailer, and like Forza Horizon 3, there was a wow moment that kind of was like the same wow moment I got when I watched Drive Club. I was in a Super Cooper's campaign, his co-op campaign, and he had unlocked all the Horizon Festival. So I'm driving down the road, and in Forza Horizon 2, yeah, you drive up to a festival and there's fireworks going off, and it's kind of pre-canned.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Whereas with Drive Club, they had these realistic looking firework displays, and it was arguably a better look. I'm driving up to this Forza Festival, Horizon Festival, and the firework display that they were showing off, I stopped the car. I
watched it for like 10 minutes. At least.
I pulled like it's real life for me. I pulled over and watched fireworks.
He even signaled too, and blind spot check and all that stuff.
I pulled over,
rolled down the window.
There was a hill, like I was watching a friggin' drive-in movie. If any of you who are under the age of 30, you don't know what a drive-in movie is. Actually, if you're under
come on, give us a little more credit than that.
Oh, they got a bunch of them over
What's
here.
a drive?
Do they really?
Movie.
They got a bunch of drive-in movie theaters over in California, right near me. They got a bunch of them. California, they still keep them.
There's one in my area. One.
There's like one in my area, at least.
Hey,
well, within an hour.
The closest one to me is in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, I drove up to the top of a hill and rested my car there, and I just sat there. So there are very few moments that have pulled me in to this generation as far as like a wow moment, and that Battlefield trailer was one of them. So I have to figure out where in my budget I have for Battlefield, and I'm gonna definitely hit it when it's EA access and I can at least play some of the campaign, because I gotta see what I want to see if that's really what the game is. So Battlefield 1, we had a good time with the beta. How many of you guys are getting it?
I am.
All
I'm
right,
gonna get it down the road.
Early enlister, just because to get the what's it called, the extra plane or whatever, and other stuff.
Okay. Anybody else?
Getting it down the road at some point, just don't know when.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
Wait for the vault.
Yeah.
I have a very weird trust issue with EA right now. Like anytime they put something in the vault that's like less than a year into its life cycle, I kick myself saying I could have waited.
Yep.
Well, that's the
DLC from EA, because it's almost guaranteed to be free later.
Yeah, Gabriel said, I'm so glad I'm single and therefore have money for more games. I used to be there. Before children.
Before
Well,
children.
it's funny too. I don't have any children, but I have a wife who likes to watch games. So on my budget, I had to also include the Dead Rising Remaster trilogy and the BioShock, because those are two of her favorites, which we're playing through now. But so yeah, it definitely, it's great having a wife who likes games. Not always the best for the wallet, but but I'm having a blast with those games too. It's great to go back to Dead Rising.
I got to figure out how to afford it. But here's the thing, and Edgar just kind of said the other piece of it. This is the downside that EA has to EA Access. As much, not downside for me, but I would imagine some possible downside for them is that I actually, because I'm not a multiplayer guy, I could wait until it hits the vault, and I could play it then, like I did with Hardline. There are still people playing Battlefield 4, and so when we got in those couple of Battlefield 4 games together, there were still people playing, and we're talking about 2 years after it launched. So there were still people playing Titanfall 2 years after it launched. So theoretically, if I waited until Battlefield 1 hits the vault, which would be November, December, January, February, March, April, could be April, maybe May, that doesn't kill my interest in the game.
Yeah, I mean, also just think about it. I mean, what happens is, and this has happened before. Like I remember when Battlefield 4 hit, because people weren't playing Battlefield 4 that much. But when it hit the vault, the whole community got reinvigorated. Everyone started playing it again. And
I saw
I
that
mean,
with Titanfall too.
it's great to save an online community. I love EA Access for that, but I can't, in good conscience, buy a game day one from them, knowing that it might just be free later. Well,
Right.
Free in terms of like it's with the service.
Yeah, but it's almost with any game. You wait long enough and you can buy it on Black Friday for like pennies on the dollar. Like,
Yeah, but I'd rather pay nothing.
Yeah, well.
Well, I mean, it works for movies. It can work for games, and it can stretch out the gaming community, because when it gets that inexpensive, you get a whole new flush of people who've never played before, and it keeps the community going.
True, but also with those add-ons that come out, those won't be free immediately. So it just takes time. The same thing as with Battlefield 4. It's like, like 2 or 3 years later, you finally have, all the content is now free, but it takes like 3 years.
Yeah, and you can still buy DLC.
Yes.
Yeah, it's smart for them, and I think what it does is, if other companies started doing this, where when they see the player base start to drop, they either drop the price really, really low, kind of like they did with what was it, Rainbow Six Siege, do the free weekend then half off. Like, do something like that. Just it can work. It can get people back in.
It got me.
But the big thing with me is that it's got to be. It might create more competition in the market as a whole, where you have to have a game that really is that good, that convinces people, like, I'm going to pick up this game over this one. I can wait for this one to go free later, but I can't wait for this one.
Well, and I think we all have that problem. I think that's why we're, like Jason said, he's going to get Battlefield 1. He just doesn't know when.
Yeah, it's a budget reason why I'm not getting it right away. So eventually, it's not that I don't want it. Financial reasons. If I could get it day one, I probably would.
Yeah. So,
well, we'll do some contests and stuff. See if we can win it for you, Matt.
Yeah, that's how I always do it. I always try to win things.
So that brings us to the next game. Gears of War 4. You still awake, Drake?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
All right, this one's. I'm gonna pass the baton to you for a minute, because.
And he missed it. You lost your chance, Drake. Okay, on to the next topic.
All right.
I guess nobody likes Gears.
No, I'm getting it.
So, well, you got that pre-ordered. Like, that's the one where you got the Ultimate Edition. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that's like Anchorman was saying. That's one of those things that you're like, I can't wait for it. I had to get it immediately. And the reason why I had bought it was I technically had bought the $100 edition for you guys, so that whenever we want to play the private matches and whatnot, you guys get all the maps for free. As long as I'm hosting it, you guys get all the maps for free. So it's good, because you guys can now play all the maps on Horde. We can play every single one of them without having to go pubs every single time just to be able to go and get map rotation and stuff like that. I want to be able to do whatever map I want to do or we want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's why I got it. I paid for it. I paid the extra money so that you guys would also be able to have it, because we play together almost every single night. So, I mean, it's nice to be able to have that. And it's like a group of 5. So not only will we have me, you, Stinger, Madzu, and HTK, we'll have room for one more too, man. So that'll be fantastic. Have some other people hop up in there. Yeah, the game, I'm definitely pumped for it. The story mode looks fantastic. And what's funny is I was telling you guys before, I didn't want to look at Gears of War too much, like the story-wise and stuff like that, because I wanted to be like in suspense. And for the most part, I've done that, which is good. But it's like a person without their heroin. I needed a taste of that, man. That game is freaking fantastic. Good Lord. Dude, that game is fantastic, man. Just when I played it, I saw and I knew that they were gonna have, the biggest complaint was, oh, the graphics, yada yada yada. I was the only one sitting there every single time telling people, you've got to remember, every single time a Gears of War comes out, even though graphics don't matter, it has always been the graphical, masterpiece of that generation every single time. So, I mean, that game looks great. I'm hoping that the campaign lives up to my expectations, because you know me, I'll rip it a new one if it doesn't.
Oh, yes, we do.
Well,
Well, I have one issue that I will not, unfortunately, be on for Gears until Thursday the 13th. So you guys may have to run the campaign without me, and I can catch up.
Well, it's only 2-player co-op anyway for the campaign.
Okay.
The campaign's only 2-player co-op. So what I was gonna do, HCK has the regular edition. I have the early. So I just said, screw it. I'm not gonna touch the campaign until which I'm really dying to, but I really also want to play it with someone else for the first time. So I'm just gonna wait until the 11th when he can, and I'm gonna just play the multiplayer, and I'll be doing streams of multiplayer and horde mode.
Okay. Yeah, I unfortunately Tuesday night and Wednesday night are another Jewish holiday, and actually more important than the one that's going on now. I mean, I'm going to be completely 100% out of off the grid.
The term is going dark.
Yeah, I will be dark that entire 24-hour period. So, it's a very, very, anybody who is listening that's Jewish and knows what Yom Kippur is, it is a very solemn, this is the one where we don't eat for 24 hours. But I will be kind of in synagogue like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. I won't be home until very, very late, and then by that time, I won't. I got to go back to work Thursday. So Thursday night is when I will be on Gears. So, let's see what else is now. There's some stuff I wish. I know Frankie's not able to join us tonight, so there's some things for that he's getting that none of us are really getting at the moment. PSVR is also launching in October, and he has that already ordered. So he's the guy I want to have talk to us about PSVR and why he's excited about it. Why he's I'll say this as the PS4 owner in the group here. I now have a tacit interest in it where I've been pretty much in the I don't care about any VR. I don't care about PSVR, Oculus, Vive, the Gear VR that I can get for $100 for my Samsung phone, HoloLens, any of the Microsoft stuff. I don't care. I've got like a tacit interest in the PSVR, but there's just no chance of my being able to afford it trying to play a bunch of games and having 3 kids. There's no universe in which I can spend $399 on that.
Yeah, I hear you.
If it wasn't $399 and I could get away with $200, I might be able to swing it, but not $399.
Give it a year.
Wait a minute. Now wait just a minute. People are just sneaking in here through the back door. It's Frankie. It is our regular co-host Frankie.
I don't know the man.
Yeah.
Right.
Intruder alert. Intruder alert.
So I got the show on. I'm making dinner, but I heard, you mentioned the VR thing. I was like, I got like 5 minutes. I can hop in here for a hot second. So
All right, he's here. He's here for a few minutes. You will be back next week, regular time.
yes.
Yeah, when you hear a smoke alarm go off, it means he has to turn off his
Yes.
stove.
When you hear the beeping,
Yeah.
Okay. All right, talk to us about PSVR because, as you heard, I've moved a little bit towards it, but I can't afford it, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, preach us that VR gospel.
I mean, I haven't played like a Rift or a Vive, so I don't have that comparison point that a lot of people do. These more high-end VR experiences. But having tried to play, like I was with you, Mike. I could have cared less about this thing months ago. Not interested at all. And I gave Brent a hard time for the longest time too. He was all excited about it, and I was just like, you could spend that money on all the other games coming out. You don't need to get that headset crap. But
I remember
my buddy. So we had the demos going on around here. So I was at the store one of the days that they had it, and I was like, yeah, what, fine, I'll try it out. See how this goes. So playing Eve Valkyrie in VR, that was probably one of the coolest gaming experiences I've had in a long time. More so just because I wasn't sure what to expect with it. I didn't. I'm just figuring like, it'll just be like playing a game with a stupid screen in your face, big deal. But like you put that thing on and like the game loads, you're in the cockpit of this fighter jet, like you look around and it's the sheer sense of scale. Like looking around that thing, like it feels like you're sitting in a fighter jet. It's pretty cool. And then even just going off into space and doing barrel rolls and not getting sick, thankfully. That was just an absolute blast and sold me on wanting to get one of those things. So I think the thing with it is it's easy to look at. Like you look at trailers for games like Battlezone, stuff like that looks dumb, like looking at it on the TV screen. But when you're with the headset on, Battlezone's really cool. A lot like, Eve Valkyrie, where you're in this tank, you're looking around, you got your little sonar thing in front of you, you look up, you got enemies flying above you shooting at you. It's pretty cool. So I think once you actually get to try it out, it might, change your mind on, how you feel about it. But
Battlezone's one of the ones that kind of would have sort of sold me moving towards it a little bit because, being a child of the 80s, Battlezone was a big game back then. And I was impressed looking at just even the non-VR footage. I would totally buy a non-VR version of that game. But, it's just the cost. I don't know how to swing the cost. That's the bigger issue. I mean, we're sitting here talking about all the games we can't afford now.
I axed a lot of games because I was able to manage that and the Gears Xbox that I finally have. Dude, I can't tell you how painful it's been not having an Xbox for the past 2 weeks. It's been terrible. So it is. Like I was in the middle of Deus Ex on there. I don't want to restart it, so XCOM I had digitally downloaded, or not downloaded but pre-ordered, and I didn't get to preload it before I got rid of the system, so I still have Recore because I got rid of it that Friday and hadn't touched it yet. At least that's on there, so when I plug my external in, I'll be ready to go. I got Horizon 3 sitting in my library to download. I'm gonna have Battlefield 1 and Mafia 3 too, so I don't even know what I'm gonna do because I have a bandwidth cap, so I'm kind of screwed. But
no, those evil bandwidth caps.
I know. So like I got to download Gears because Brent wants to tackle Gears and Mafia 3. Like I am not. Joe, you were talking about that earlier. I am jazzed for Mafia 3. Like that's my most anticipated fall game. So
Yeah.
It does look fantastic. I'm so open worlded out though. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous because I'm a huge fan of Forza Horizon 3, but it's different. I think I don't know. I've struggled this generation with open world fatigue. Everyone loves Witcher. I couldn't put more than 10 hours into it. I just said, go explore this giant and gorgeous world. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
I'm with you on that. And
I
I'll tell
used
you,
to like you, Juan. Now I don't.
I'm just saying, I look at something like The Witcher and also Mafia 3. And Mafia 3 is going to be amazing. It's going to be super sweet. I love the first 2 games. But I look at those, and what I hear in my head is those games going, we want hundreds of your hours. And I'm looking at the hours I have to give. I'm like, No.
Right.
No.
But
We
that's,
want your
that's
hours.
actually one,
I would like
one of
how
the things I
tactfully
liked about
kind of
Mafia
what we
2,
talked
though.
about
Was,
Fallout.
sorry, go ahead.
Who was? I had two people talking at once.
Someone was talking about Fallout.
Oh,
No, I was just saying I like how everyone's trying to avoid talking about Fallout when they talk about open world games.
well. Well, I'm having so much fun with games like Shotun, which I have to thank Brent for, by the way, because I saw Brent play
I
that.
gotta do that thing. I gotta do that thing, and or I correct you because you're driving me crazy. It's
What?
Heutink.
Jotun. Nobody's ever.
You're doing you're
Yeah,
doing
Yoda.
the Uncharted thing again.
I don't. I don't.
You know, since
I
it
don't-
annoys him, just say it the
Yeah, that's right.
original way you were saying it. Joe
Yeah,
Toon.
I don't
Look, I knew enough. I knew enough when the person narrating said Thor. I was like, okay, that I got. I mean, have you listened to the stream where I try to say Jagunagap or whatever Jagungagap? I mean, have you honestly listened, because it is the worst butchering of the name. So nobody, not even the good people at Thunder Lotus have come to me to say, by the way, you're saying it wrong. So
Like
okay,
great studio
so say it again. It is what?
Jotun.
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 I was telling Anchorman on the one podcast, I said
Yep.
you could have a whole podcast dedicated to trying to pronounce names. You could.
Hilarious.
Jotun.
But the
Write
thing
that
I was
down.
going to mention about Mafia, though, like Mafia 2 was open world, but it also felt like it was kind of like a closed off open world. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things you could go and do, sure, but there weren't like a Grand Theft Auto amount of side quests or side activities to be doing. It was, you have a couple guys you can go steal cars for to get there was something with that, and then the collectibles, but some of them were locked off based on whatever chapter you were playing. So I'm hoping they stick to that, because when I play open world games, I do the thing where I have to do all the side quests and I forget whatever I was doing in the main mission 25 hours ago. So I'm hoping
so it's
Mafia
the
3
GTA style, where it's like only certain missions are available to you, like once you've completed certain story missions. Like it paces you a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was doing that with Recore, where I was just trying to go around and do all the side stuff before I get to the next mission, because I want the game to end and I find out that I missed a whole bunch of stuff. But with like Mafia 3, to be honest, a better game for me, and I'm not saying it's a better game overall, so don't jump, but a better game for me, what I would rather play than Mafia 3 is a sequel to LA Noire, where I knew where I had to go, and it was still like the city, but I had a specific task, and there were no side quests. It was like the Sherlock Holmes game, which I would have loved to have played through until my save game got corrupted. That's another one where I would love to. That was a linear. This is what you got to do. You don't necessarily have to do it in that order, but you had a goal. And this thing,
Singer, I'm telling you, you're lucky you said LA Noire, because I was about to choke you out, my friend.
what?
Your opinions don't matter unless they agree with my opinion.
I see.
The only opinion is the opinion that agrees with what we say.
The only way to win is not to play.
Going back real quick to the VR thing, it's out of my budget. I'm not going to build a PC for one of the PC options, and going PlayStation from scratch is $1,000 easy. So it's not going to be my thing. But I tell you, the IP that I want to try in VR really bad is Elite Dangerous. I'm a huge fan of Elite Dangerous. Hundreds of hours in that game, and it is, I think, perfect for VR.
Resident Evil 7.
Oh yeah, any game like that is built for VR. Like, because all you really have to do, at least on Xbox, all you replaces is the right stick function.
Yep.
Resident Evil 7 looks amazing for VR. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not a big VR fan either. I'll be honest with you, I'm really not. I can care less about it, but I would love to try out Resident Evil 7 on that VR, man. That would be awesome.
My concern with VR, and this is not a shot so much just at Sony, but I'm putting it in that frame because it's going to be on less powerful hardware. It's going to be more constrained than the PC versions. Is the kind of on rails experience is not something I want to pay big money to have. Like I saw a trailer for that.
Having tried, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
There was a trailer. I can't remember. It was a House of the Dead, or I can't remember which one it was. It was like an undead franchise, and it was killing zombies, but it was like an on rail shooter. That's so 90s or whatever. That turns me off to the concept.
I want to say it was that Until Dawn Rush of Blood.
That's what it is. Yep. Until Dawn, I think, had a really great concept, but to take that and make it an on-rail shooter, which is maybe that's not an accurate depiction of what it really is. I don't know. I just saw the trailer, and it looked a lot like an on-rail shooter.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't know.
I can't see spending that kind of money for that.
Options. I got to try out the Rift and the Vive, and right now the Vive is kind of the only viable one to me because it's powerful. It's mostly just because the system hardware is actually powerful enough to play like a real game that's not just like a built for VR experience.
Right.
It's only built for that. Because I got to play Doom, and it felt like, wow, this could actually work. And when I played the Rift, I was like, like it's still like because we're playing at the minimum required hardware, and it was just like, this is okay, but this is all just kind of like pandering games.
Well, it's like, that's my issue, and I don't know if it's because of the hardware as much as it is. I don't think people know what to really do with it yet. You're still constrained by the type of game you can have. You can't how do you do a third-person action platform? So Tomb Raider has an area of Laura's house, the manor, in VR, right? But doesn't that switch you to first person?
Yeah.
Okay, so how in the world do you do a full Tomb Raider game in VR?
I don't know, but I will say there's a developer who escapes me at the moment, who I think was featured in one of the VR things, maybe the Rift or the Vive, but they were doing a full wintry third-person thing. I wish I could remember the name of it.
Wasn't that Insomniac? That was that Edge of Nowhere game.
It was Insomniac, yes. Yep. That's the one. And so,
them and,
I put faith in them.
I just don't know how it would work.
Yeah, I think it's just right now the stuff that's coming out for the Rift and the PSVR are namely just they're using the term experiences. They're not really games as much as they are, hey, try this out. This is really cool, right?
Right.
And they're trying to put dip the toe in the water, see what can we do with this.
Well, to answer Mike's question, I think that the third person thing, I think it could work. I mean, because even without having the whole immersion of the first person perspective in VR, you're eliminating other sensory inputs as you're playing. Your whole everything you can see is this thing, and so I think you would still have maybe a little more immersion that way than staring at a screen.
You could do that, but see, you could do that with 3D. Or you could do that with, 7.1 sound. You can do immersion that way. I thought the whole point of VR was, what it would look like through your eyes, and not necessarily.
That's kind of what it is.
Right, from the perspective of behind Lara Croft, or if Gears was a VR game, how would you do that from behind, Marcus Phoenix? How could you, those are the things that I don't understand. Like the robot golf, I don't understand how the robot golf is going to work. I don't know how.
Actually, sounds really weird.
I don't know. How does Riggs work? Is Riggs first person?
I think Riggs is first person.
Mike,
Okay.
You can't talk about no Gears of War with VR. You're going to give me a heart attack. That game would be terrible in VR.
Yeah. Now that would be that could be a HoloLens game. If you wanted to really get into, HoloLens, that could be a friggin' HoloLens game. You have horde guys actually in your room running at you. That's different.
Boom.
VR though, I just don't know how I don't know. I don't know how you pull that off.
Yeah, just moving in the world is like, unless you have like contraptions where you can run in place, you can make that work. But otherwise, it's very stationary. Like you're moving your head, but just moving. Like how would you move, without any other input? That's the biggest challenge.
Well, the problem I would see with Gears and VR is, unless you change or modify the cover mechanic, a lot of times you're not seeing anything. You're looking at a wall.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be the best game ever.
I need third person aspect. Like I played one game that was a third person, but it was like a racing game, and it was cool, like a god perspective. Like you're looking down on it, you can push your head in deeper, get a closer look, go stand up, and you can see it from a higher. You can see like the track and like how large the track is, but that was just kind of it.
Now, racing games though are the other thing that I would love to see, because I think racing games would be great. And that is what I could see VR being used for. Like Frankie, I would be interested in if you get the Drive Club VR. I really want to hear how that is.
Yeah,
because the driver is stationary to the car, so you can move your head. Yeah,
right,
exactly. So
I would
that
I would be down for.
That would be pretty cool.
Like that's like a Rocket League type game too, where you're not behind the car, but first person Rocket League, where you're able to look around and find the ball.
Yeah,
that'd be really hard.
Yeah, but
that would be really hard, but it'd be fun.
Yeah.
It would be fun. So
for VR, I see things like I said, like Elite Dangerous, and then also like your ARC. I think that'd be amazing in a first person perspective. I know it is in the game anyway, but imagine being immersed in that world, or even Minecraft.
That'd be too terrifying.
Minecraft, we know is coming to VR. We just don't. It's not coming to PSVR, but that may change.
Yeah. The thing I want to see done with HoloLens or that type of AR technology is my tabletop gaming in like Star Wars chess mode. I want to play BattleTech in 3D with stompy lasers and powerful effects on my table with AR. That's what I want. That's all I want from life.
Yeah, that would be cool.
No, we were saying Yu-Gi-Oh. Play like Yu-Gi-Oh cards,
Magic
in VR or not VR, or it could be VR. But like AR in particular would be interesting.
Yep,
that'd be insane.
I gotta bounce. I gotta take this stuff out of the oven in a couple minutes.
What are you
I'll hop
cooking
back
now?
on if I have time.
Thanks for jumping, because the rest of this stuff is like news on Twitch and stuff like that. So, you can come in next week and at our regular time and rejoin us as a.
Did I miss the No Man's Sky stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I did? Good.
No, you didn't.
Oh wait, did you talk about that already?
No, we didn't.
Not
Miss,
yet.
we didn't miss it.
Good.
We didn't miss it. We purposely, because I know that's probably one of your things.
It's it was like
Not such a nice.
the Neo. It's like you hear about it for so long, and it's like I don't care anymore.
Well, but this is something a little different. It was only because they're actually being investigated. So that's the only reason we were going to bring it up, is because there is actual news. Like the more I thought about it, the more I could really care less, or could not care less. I know people say that wrong too. So I can. Yeah. I could not care any less if Sean Murray never tweets again. I honestly, whatever. But the news that they were getting investigated by advertising commission was that's kind of news. So we'll talk about that later when you're not around.
Cool. If there's anything else that I happen to catch that I've got a minute, I'll hop back on. But
all right. Well, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah,
thanks for jumping in. We'll see you next week, regular time.
Oh yeah,
I'll be
Later.
here.
go cook me
Later,
something
Zach.
tasty.
See you guys.
See ya.
Panakis. He looks
You
exactly
better
like that.
you better cook me something tasty. I'm
The
hungry.
hangover is up in here.
All right. So let's go over a couple other games real quick. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Anybody?
Nope.
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah, I'll be
Maybe
getting
later
it.
on
Yeah.
down the road for the
Pass.
remaster.
I will continue.
I haven't bought a Call
Yeah.
of Duty game since Ghost. So.
Flops.
I didn't even
I'm
bother with
suckered in-
those.
I'm suckered into getting it every year at some point. So
I'm more excited about the fact that that 3 and World at War are backward compatible now. Those were my Call of Duty games.
Oh, yeah.
Black Ops, the original Black Ops, Call of Duty 3, World at War, the ones that were, which is why I was so excited for Battlefield when they were, not the.
Futuristic, yes. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the space thing is intriguing, but meh,
Not your style.
not really.
If only it
For
wasn't
space, I'll
Call of
play
Duty,
Star
it's a
Wars.
New game.
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. The whole ARP thing again. The competitive shooting, I don't feel it right now.
Yeah.
And that's my issue too. Is that the campaigns in these Call of Duty games have been extremely lackluster. And
Well, for Call of Duty, for me, it's always been about the multiplayer. I play the hell out of some multiplayer Call of Duty. Every Call of Duty multiplayer through Blops, and then I just couldn't anymore. And I hadn't gone back to multiplayer shooting until Titanfall, which of course I'm kind of over now too. Although I still love the first one. I don't think I'm really interested in competitive multiplayer much at all. I think the only thing that's going to bring me back to it is Sea of Thieves.
Oh, yeah. Sea
Yeah.
of Thieves. It will be nice. That's next year, though.
Yeah.
it is. So as
Next
is
year
a bunch
can't
of
go
other.
fast enough.
Yeah, so a whole bunch of stuff's moving into the springtime.
Yeah. Ghost
you know,
Recon.
Ghost Recon, Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo, which is fine with me because that game is not getting bought. Anything that ever looks or plays like Dark Souls, you can just kiss my ass.
Oh, come on. We love
That
watching
game
you
looks
die.
great, though.
No, you kiss mine first.
It
need
looks great. I love the Tenchu look of it, but no.
You know what you need to stream, Mike? Some Dark Souls 3. I want to watch you die over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That'd be such a nice for me
Yes.
and the viewers.
Frankie's greatest prank to me was getting me that game.
You should have got it for me. I would have enjoyed it. But I'd probably be where you are, probably on the first boss, and still
Right, going, why am I dying?
Still crying in the corner.
still crying in the
6
corner.
months later,
It's chasing me.
still played it.
No, I came to appreciate Souls type games because I played the backwards compatibility version of Dark Souls through this year from start to finish, and I like it. I would be down with Neo. Sorry, if it was on a platform I'm going to buy.
Yeah, that's all. That could be all you. So the other game that's winter. Two other games that are winter, real quick. Last Guardian got pushed back to December, and
It's coming out on ColecoVision, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, so I think that is in my secondary list of games to get. I'm torn because the footage that I saw looks so quirky, but it's a single player adventure, and it just looks like something on an action platform level that I think I would enjoy. I need to be a little more sold on the animation. The kids' animation running, which I understand is a Team Ico thing, but it didn't look fluid, and it didn't look it just didn't look right. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that it affects the gameplay that much. So I need to see a little bit more. It's one of those games where I try not to, I try to keep from not watching footage, but I need to see more of that one.
Yeah.
And I want to want it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you want to like it. You want to go out and buy it day one, but they just haven't convinced you yet.
Yeah, there's just not enough for me to be excited about it. So I think that's in my springtime list, but I do kind of, I am kind of interested in it. I just need to see more.
The nice thing, since it's a single player game, that you don't have to get it day one. You can get it down the road, and it's not going to change. You're not going to miss anything.
Yeah, true.
Right. And
I
that's,
mean, that game has some interest to me as well, but since I don't have a PS4, I have no interest of getting it at all. If I had a PS4, yeah, I'd probably get it down the road, summertime or something. God only knows when. I mean, it looks interesting. It does.
I get the feeling it's going to have almost like a throwback appeal in its play style and in the mechanics and such. Because I mean, it's got to feel age, but that's not a bad thing if it's done well.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sure
If
the
it's
story
done
would
where
be decent.
The base mechanics actually work, then it's fine. I mean, there's games like, and this is kind of like a throwback year if you really kind of think about it. We look at games like Doom. Doom took some of the aspects of the modern gaming and implemented it into the game, and it worked out pretty well. And they still kept true to the old classic version that people liked, and that's all that mattered. And it did really well.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
And Frankie mentioned in the chat, that Recore has that kind of throwback style mechanic play. That feel.
Yeah, it does.
It
Yeah.
definitely does. When I played it, like I said, Mike, how bad was I against Recore and stuff like that? Just the whole idea of it and stuff like that. I remember I was pretty bad. HGK will tell you too.
Yeah, you said I don't want to fight robots.
Yeah, I really didn't. But then I actually found out most games where you fight robots, they're actually pretty lame. But that game, I'm not gonna lie, that game is not bad. The way that the game plays and the robots and stuff like that, they're not. I don't know, something about them. Just the way that the gameplay feels, it doesn't feel really annoying like most of those games where you're fighting against robots and whatnot, like every Superman game, how you've had to fight against freaking robots and stuff like that instead of that kind of stuff. Which is why there'll never be a good Superman game. But I don't know, the mechanics feel great, and it definitely feels, like I said, Jack and Daxter. That's the closest thing I can say it feels like, honestly.
yeah, I agree. See, I agree. It does have an old school feel to it, which is what, and it's single player, but it's a little, it is a bit open world, but more like zone open world, like Tomb Raider was. That's a game that I've been playing, but I got to come back to after playing other stuff.
Well, it benefits to do so because Armature's done a good job so far of responding to the feedback and making those adjustments to the game. They've made some visual improvements. Load times are down. It's definitely improved since launch.
Yeah, those patches are amazing, man. From what I was seeing when I'd watched some gameplay walkthroughs for it just to see how it was and whatnot, I was like, man, these are some long load screens. And then now I get it, and the next day after, I remember the first day I was like, wow, these load screens are a little long. Next thing you know, the next day a patch comes out, and I was just like, oh my god, man, it's crazy. I think I got it on Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I can't believe it just changed within the snap of a finger. That's crazy. As soon as I get it, that happens. That game definitely is good. It's definitely worth the $40. Now, I would never say that it's $60 good. I would say that it's $40 good. No more than that. But yeah.
Yeah, I know you were, not a. You were passing up on that game, and then you got it, and now you're right. So you're living proof, man.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely. I looked at it, I was like, man, I gotta stop being such an ass, and I gotta look at the price. It's only $40, and then, I played it, and I stopped just watching the videos only off of it, and I played it, and like I said, $40 good, not $60 good. If they would have made it for $60, I would have told them goodbye. I wouldn't even picked it up at all.
Fair enough. One day we'll get into a conversation about what, it's one to be had about if you're single player only, if you're multiplayer only. I'm guilty of that. I didn't buy Rainbow Six at $60. I waited
Yeah.
till it was on sale, so I can understand that. I can't hypocritically say, well, you should get it at $60. If you don't feel like you need to, that's there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I waited to get, Rainbow Six for exactly that reason.
Oh yeah, and we talked about this before behind the scenes a little bit about what we thought the worth of a game was.
Yeah.
Self-worth, yeah.
So, so there's a couple of the other game that I'm looking at is Dead Rising 4. Anybody in on
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
I'm gonna take a chance.
No,
I
still
didn't
have to finish number 3.
I didn't like 3 that much. I'm hoping that I like 4 a little bit more. It looks pretty good with the Christmas-like kind of stuff in there and whatnot. But
My only concern with 4 is they're completely removing the timers. I'm probably the only person in the world who cares because I know a lot of people dislike the timers. But for me, that's what made it Dead Rising and Dead Rising 2, even 3 to some degree. And they've been slowly making the timers less and less strict because Dead Rising's timers were tough. But that makes it the game. That's the tension. If it's just killing zombies, if it's, all it is an open world and just kill zombies, there's only so many ways you can do that. But when I got my Dead Rising achievements, I have because 1,000 achievement in that game or platinum if it were in that terminology. Some of those are really tough achievements. Getting all the survivors out, or doing the 7-day, 14-hour gameplay for the 7-day survivor, that really set it apart from everything else at its time was that timer. So I personally kind of hate seeing them go, but on the other hand, I'm a Frank West fan, and so I'll be there day one.
Okay. By the way, is anybody a Final Fantasy fan here? Jabril, who jumped in a little late, he had mentioned I'd forgotten World of Final Fantasy comes out this fall too.
Are you sure?
Never played any of them.
Yeah, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy, but I mean, it looks neat. I just not a Final Fantasy guy.
Totally am. I don't have the book for it, so I'll wait.
2020.
Okay.
I've played a few over the years. They're not too bad. I might get it at some point.
I even like 13.
I don't like them, but if I win a competition, I'll give it to Crazy.
I don't even know what number they're on, really. Are they at
Either do I.
It's like
I think
15,
15, I think, yeah.
17
15 is the next.
17 X2,
15 is the next main line.
Right. So I don't, but I have zero, and of course that was delayed. So I have zero interest in Final Fantasy. I never have. I was always and this unfairly stems from my old Sega versus Nintendo days. I was a Phantasy Star guy.
Sure.
Actually, my big one was Landstalker on the Genesis. That was a really good one. So
your beef with Nintendo between Nintendo and Sega is just like how I think that Star Trek is crap and Star Wars is better.
Not to sidetrack or get too far off topic, but if you follow Star Wars a lot, did you follow the Mr. Plinkett's reviews for those? You know about those? Yeah, it's a long series of reviews, and he does all the prequel movies and basically rips them apart. But it's in a very cinematically knowledgeable way, and it's pretty entertaining too because there's like a side story where the narrator is a serial killer, and it's pretty funny stuff. But they just actually released today that character really reviewing the Force Awakens movie. So that I watched that today. And if you're into Star Wars, especially if you're like a Star Wars buff, it's worth watching.
What's the guy's name again?
Red Letter Media is the site and YouTube that puts it on, and it's the character is Mr. Plinkett, and it's like I said, it's really long. You got to commit to it, but
it's like an hour 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing though to just cover real quick when you're talking about the Phantom Menace, right? One of the things they cover is the characters and how they're maybe kind of lame, and they had a test where you would name a character and that person would have to describe them without saying what they were wearing or what they did for a living. And so you would say Han Solo, and people would say he was, he thought he was dashing. He was kind of had a dark side. He was, rogue with a heart of gold, kind of thing. And then they said Queen Amidala.
Okay.
And without describing what she looks like or what she does, what can you say about her? She's Natalie Portman.
That's the best I can do.
And that's the kind of stuff. I mean, I don't want to talk about it for too long because it's not that gaming. But if you're into Star Wars, it's totally and into movies, it's totally worth watching.
Oh man, I really that actually might interest me because I absolutely hated Episode 7. I hated it.
Oh boy, now I just don't like you even more. Like, I didn't like you before. Now I just really despise you. I got a squint going on right now, my friend. Like that's how.
You notice Joe changed his avatar picture.
Yeah, no more porn stash.
Yeah, no more.
And he's in California.
By the way,
And everybody liked the porn stash.
by the way, you are no longer bound by the rules of your previous house. You can turn on your camera now.
With my broken ass iPad, yeah, of course.
Right. In fact, what's up with all of you guys? I mean, I know Juan likes to show off his controller, but you, Jason and Peter, you guys, what's up?
Yeah, I got hook something
technical
up someday.
difficulties, and then it's like, forget about it.
We got a face for radio, dude.
Well, that's you, Anchor.
Face for radio.
It sucks, man. A couple months ago.
man, that he brings all the chicks to the podcast. They all love his hands.
His milkshake. Brings milkshakes.
I was looking at a couple webcams over the week. I might pick one up soon.
All right.
Yeah.
The one I'm using is not an expensive Logitech.
Yeah, I was looking at one. It was like $30. It was like 720p quality or something. I don't know.
That's all you need. Honestly, that's all you need.
Yeah, I think I'd break your screen if it was 1080p.
Google Hangouts isn't exactly the high bandwidth super clarity podcasting way to go. One day when we've got time, I am all for checking out
Face reveals.
Skype and all that stuff, but not right now.
It sucks. We had talked about what had happened to my phone, and we won't get into that. But my phone, and then now I have an iPad.
He sat on it and broke it.
The whole. Oh yeah, of course.
Fell in the jacuzzi.
The whole freaking.
Fell in the
screen,
pool. Dropped it in the toilet.
The whole screen is cracked on my iPad, literally, right over my. And I'm having to use that.
It's because he looked at it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Mirror on the wall.
This guy. He wants to bag on me. Okay, you want to bag on me. Let's get down to the nitty gritty here with that receding hairline of yours.
Yeah, it's such a nice. Girls love it.
Running from his face.
Oh man! By the way, there, we talk about these games and we're not even talking about remasters or anything like that. Forgot Dishonored 2. Anybody
Skyrim.
Dishonored 2?
By the way, can I say this real quick? BioShock Remastered, one of the best remasters ever made.
It's good.
Boom, hands down. Drop the
It
mic.
is good. The
Is it
third one,
such a
not
nice-
so much. It didn't really do anything to the third one. It's just 1080p 60.
Yeah, I like you a little bit more now. if that
The
matters
first
a bit.
one, it's good. I call it the Legacy Edition. It's going to be in 30 years when kids are getting here's your book report. With video games, you got to go play BioShock. That's the version they're going to have to play.
That would be dope if they had that in school, man. Video games for homework.
Beat My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
What about Duke Nukem 3D?
Yeah, that's
Oh, that looks good.
It was the bad game. Don't play this.
see that.
Hail to the king, baby.
Yeah, man. But see, there's been some. I can always, whip out my PC edition, and that's good enough for me on that.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
So a remaster is gonna have to really be something that I either have never played that I really want to play, or it's gonna have to reach out and just
It's got to be
punch me in the
Jackpot.
face of how good it is. I'm not even in for the Skyrim remaster. because
Skyrim.
I
That's
get
exciting.
play Skyrim.
I'm
I
getting
haven't finished the game.
Bioshock. Well, the only reason I have Bioshock is because I found out one of my best friends had never played Bioshock, and I was like, "You gotta play this, or we can't be friends anymore." Like, we laid on the line. Like, nope, you gotta play.
I understand that if you're like, I understand the whole point of a remaster if you've never played it before.
Like
Oh,
for
if you
me,
never
how I
played it,
haven't-
God, ignore every argument against it.
like for me, I haven't played 2 until I played the Bioshock remaster, and you saw me, guys. I was literally running through 1, then I went through 2, and then the DLC for 2, and then I went through freaking Infinite. I already had played Infinite, still hate it, but the DLC Infinite is not bad. I like it.
Minerva's Den was one of the first really high quality DLCs.
It was my favorite DLC
I still have not
me
played that.
ever made personally.
I've not played any of the DLCs for Bioshock. That's the reason. That's the other reason I got it. So
Minerva's Den was the best DLC I've ever played. That's just my opinion. I think it's like not expansion. When it comes down to expansions, that's a whole different ball game. But DLC wise, that is my favorite DLC ever made. Seriously,
It's real solid.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, I got to be at work in like 6 hours, so I'm going to jet. But before I do, I want to drop a couple quick notes. First, I got a move coming at the end of the month, so my regular streaming of different things is going to have to kind of take a back seat for a bit. So
Yeah, sure.
I'd still like to come by for these types of evenings, but my video content will be curtailed until I get a setup going to the new place. And then also there was something else, but I don't recall what it is because I'm old.
Not a problem. You know,
So let that go.
you know, look, Joe had to move, so he's, he was out of commission for a little bit too. It happens. This stuff happens.
No, it's inexcusable for him though. He's not Drake.
just give them all.
Just got to figure out what I want to do when I get back. I would like to do something retro again because I did Crimson Skies. Really enjoyed that, and I picked up a couple other. I wouldn't mind doing like a Ninja Gaiden or even something from the SNES. Or I just want.
Yeah, man.
Feeling like doing something retro when I come back, but so maybe I'll put up a poll on that or something. But
The retro stuff is really good. The Crimson. So if you guys have not watched the Crimson Skies walkthrough that Crazy Juan did, go to the channel and check it out. I mean, he goes through the entire story, and now there's a little bit of editing in there, so but for the most part, I mean, it's great action. And if you've never played it and you want to get a good look at the game, it's a great walkthrough to have. Or if you're stuck at a part and don't know what to do, you got to check out this walkthrough.
that's a game that needs a remaster.
Yeah, I'm telling you, one thing we need to do, we need to start a retro war, and we need to talk about which one's better, Super Mario Bros. Or Sonic. I would personally be on the Super Mario Bros. Side.
Yeah, well, that's because you have no taste in games.
Oh, you talk about a little ball that rolls
Goomba squishing.
and takes off.
Kick those damn turtle shells. Just kick 'em. Nothing like punching
Bounce around.
bricks.
Remember, man.
Drake, go ahead and punch some bricks.
Right.
Mr. Gorbachev.
See if coins come out.
Oh.
That's right. Tear down this wall.
But yeah, at any rate, I got to
Alright.
be going. I do appreciate you having me on, though.
Yeah, of course. No problem, man.
All
Be in
right.
touch.
Have a good one, Crazy.
What's up?
Hey, see you, man.
All right, so yeah, Dishonored 2 remaster. So that pretty much rounds out the games. We'll probably revisit this back when we get to November and see where everybody is. Obviously things change depending on what we see at games. So since we're hitting the 2-hour mark, let's run through the couple of things because I also have to be. I got a
Awake.
full boat of I got a full boat of services tomorrow. In addition to my lovely gaming, I also have to run the music program at synagogue. So I am 9:15 is when we start, so I got to be there.
One busy
8
man.
o'clock. I really am. I gotta go back and it's hard to go back and forth between gaming and all the other stuff going on. And it does get difficult. There's going to have to be a couple days when you guys have to carry the channel a bit so that I can, which you guys have had no problem doing. Let me tell you, the content has been unbelievable, and I am actually okay with the fact that the bulk of the content is coming from you guys, and not so much from from me. I do have a Yotun.
Jotun. Just say it.
Jotun. Ah, I remember Jotun.
Jotunheim.
Yes, I
Just
do
try
have
it Frankie crazy. Who cares?
I do
Say it
have
the way you
another-
want.
Thor's father doing hip hop. Jotun.
Jotun. I do have another Jotun video coming up. And it's already, I just need to process it and upload it. But I do have another Jotun video coming.
Nice.
And that'll be up. But you guys have been really doing a hell of a job with the content. So if I'm kind of absent a few days to try to, I gotta get some stuff done. I'm actually behind on some band stuff I have to do, and actually some stuff for the house. So I may be in and out as we go. You guys have been unbelievable, so I am not. I'm not at all worried. So.
Oh please! They only carried the slack until the man comes back.
Oh please! This is a team effort, man. This is why I love having. Why I love having this group, because this is not. I mean, It's not like, I don't even feel like this is my channel with people contributing it. It's our channel, and it's the channel for the people. It's the gamers channel.
I've told you tons of times, I wouldn't even be involved if it wasn't for you and your personality. Because when I first started off this, there was no like HEK was part of the group, and like we'd talk, and Madzu was too. But like, I wouldn't have even started streaming for the group if it wasn't for like just the way that you are, exactly, because you're such a kind person and you care about this channel so much, and you care about the viewers, and
you care about gaming.
You care about, exactly. So that's why. And then once I started meeting HTK and I started meeting Madzu and I got involved with it, I started seeing, man, there are some smart gamers out there. Actually, I thought all of them were getting pretty retarded. And and he'll tell you, Stinger will tell you, when it comes down to everyone, I'm literally I will tell you exactly how I'm feeling. I'm always like that. I've always been like that. And I don't ever
Drake Unfiltered coming soon.
Exactly. But
Next Level Gaming.
I love this group, and I feel like all you guys, I love you guys, all the viewers and whatnot, for you guys coming out here and showing support. You guys are definitely fantastic. And the only reason why I do this, I had other things to do today, and I stopped what I was doing to be able to come on this podcast, to be able to talk for you guys and to you guys, because I care that much, because you guys mean the world to all of us here at NLG.
Absolutely. And I think, we don't have to do this. I'm 43 years old. I have a wife and 3 kids. I've done my, I always say, as far as game journalism goes, as far as the E3s and the, all this, I've done my time. I've got my stuff to show for it. I've been there. I've done that. I don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. This is time we could be playing, but it's those people that are in the chat room right now. It's those viewers right now in my lower right corner. That number of viewers who are watching us. It's the people who are checking us out afterwards. It's everybody who hits a view for all of your videos, whether it's HTK playing We Happy Few, or doing what was the latest thing I gave you was oh crap, what did I just given you something else, I thought.
Talking about We Happy View, they just came out with another update. So
yes,
I'm interested in seeing what they changed or added or.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. I actually was meaning to look at that. I was playing it before. The game is solid, man. That game is really good.
Wasn't it Hugh that you gave him?
Hugh, yes, it was Hugh.
I was saying,
Oh, yeah,
I was,
Hugh.
I was thinking
Yeah.
View, but like, no, it's not View. It's something around that though.
Whether
Yeah,
it's-
the later levels are not going to be as interesting in watching without major editing, because the puzzles are getting harder and it's a little,
I can-
little slow.
I can edit. Trust me,
So-
man. If you know the editing that I do for Crazy Juan,
I don't know. We thought he was a perfect racer and stuff. Oh no, you're talking.
no, good, but there's a lot of editing that happens with
He's
that.
good, but not that good.
So,
Not one cut good.
but no, but like that, and what's really cool is now we have developers coming to us. We've got people that are and thanks to God, I got to give a great shout out to sorry, I don't know why when I get tired my eyes just go nuts. I got to give such a shout out to Yaris37 and Naapuki, the guys from our Fine Fins who have put some just great streams out. The to sit and watch Yaris. The guy, you'll hear like audible laughter coming out of my office, and people will poke their head in to wonder what the hell I'm laughing at. It's because he is so funny, and you guys too. It's like watch a Madzu video, and just tell me that just the humor and the wisecracks. This is the stuff that I love, but we don't have to. Point is, we don't have to do this. We could sit and we could be in parties and and that kind of stuff and be playing. We do this because there are people out there that like it, and the channel, has always been Next Level Gaming was always about the people that clicked on the site, that watched the videos, was there a little bit of kind of pride that I got to do cool things and I got these posters and box quotes and all that stuff? Yeah, of
Gotta
course.
shake a few nice hands and
Shake
stuff
a few
like
nice
that.
hands, to look over and Robbie Bach is following us and that kind of stuff is cool. There's no doubt about that. It's funny. I have this. I don't put it on the wall anymore, but we had cool stuff like this. I still have this thing. When this game was Dead to Rights was out and they sold 1 million copies and they sent us this nice little plaque. That's all cool stuff. But this is stuff that at 43 years old, it's cool to have, but I'm not banking on it.
Soon your wife will make you ship it all to the basement. Hey, I'm going to put up a nice picture here. Get rid of that.
Where do you think all this stuff is?
The basement's collecting dust.
Every one of you guys that's in the chat room right now,
Except for Super Cooper.
except for him. This is what we do this for, and this is why we make the videos, and this is why, except for Joe. Joe wants fame and fortune.
Joe. That's why he's in Cali. That's why he's
Fortune and
there.
glory, Dr. Jones.
Yeah,
Fortune and
he's
glory.
still after the gold rush.
That's right.
Fortune and glory.
He went to
Jones.
California to find his internet.
Yeah. Oh.
So, anyway, so we're getting a little off topic, but I just wanted I kind of wanted to bring that up because this is just no longer.
I think
about-
every podcast you love thanking the viewers.
Yeah, well, and you guys, because you guys, again,
Where are we now?
3 months
I think
ago.
it's Guy here. What the hell?
Well, 3 months ago, I was scrounging for weekly people, and now look. I mean, look what's
And I
This
wasn't
is-
even gonna do it because I had my own problems that I had to worry about. That's ipso facto why I have not done the streams in a while. But
You should
I gotta
say
get
ipso
into it.
facto,
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I heard.
and thus,
And
yeah.
thus. And then.
and
Yeah,
then.
But the thing is like I said, I do love doing this for all you guys. And like I said, I'm gonna start getting into streams more. But I'm sure if any of you guys are old enough to understand, for those who are, if you've ever moved from, I was in Rhode Island and now I live in California. That's all the way across the country. It's expensive to move. and it is, very stressful to get situated and stuff like that.
And
So-
then
And he got there, by the way, by way of the crew.
Oh yeah, driving on over.
Which, by the way, now that expansion comes out in November, and that's a free expansion. And
Yeah.
I will be glad to stream that when it's out.
Oh yeah,
So.
definitely.
So since we're getting on quarter after, and I know Anchor's getting bored because now we're talking about NLG, and so by the way, Anchor, we'll give
Anchor's
you a
a
chance
weirdo.
real quick to plug Tick because we love those guys. I'll let you do that at the end of the podcast.
not a moment before.
Not a moment before. And I want to go over a couple of quick things I wanted to go over so we can wrap up, and because I also need to get some sleep. So Twitch has made some announcements at their TwitchCon. So this week was their convention. They had a bunch of great stuff going on, and they made some fairly big announcements for for their advancement of Twitch. How much of that has been spurned by Microsoft buying Beam? I don't know. I don't know how much of this has also been just stuff that's been in the works, but there's some pretty significant things that came out of TwitchCon. So first and foremost is Twitch Prime. So everybody, unfortunately, we're not big enough to be a Twitch partner yet, although that's going to be a goal of ours going into 2017 to try to
Gotta have goals.
Yep, is to try to get, we have nearly 600 subs on the YouTube channel. I'd like to get some, to get up to that 500 sub. We're actually on the move on Twitch, which, even at the beginning of the year when I really didn't do much with it, we weren't at much, but thanks to Joe kickstarting the Twitch streaming, I truly owe the beginnings of that to you, brother, because you got in there and started that, the Halo streams and the daily stuff, and you jump started the Twitch channel, and then Madzu with his great giveaways really got people to take a look at our Twitch channel. So we're growing that, and that's great. So if you're not a partner, you could still do stuff like Turbo, which is their subscription. Well, now they have Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is actually something you attach to your Amazon Prime if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. I think HTK, you did with your channel.
Yes, I did.
And I did it for the NLG channel with my wife's Amazon Prime, but
Yeah, don't say that too loud.
Nah, she was fine with it. So basically,
I don't know. She might be giving you a dirty look. I can feel it.
I gotta tell you, real quick.
Twitch channel.
So real
Standing
quick.
behind you.
Yeah, real quick. This is funny. So I got home from Temple tonight, and my wife is going, and my wife says, "Shh, I want you to hear something." And I'm listening. I'm like, well, "What?" She goes, "No, I don't hear it yet." And then you guys started talking. I had forgotten I left the hangout room open.
Yeah, I seen the empty chair in the dark house and all that. That was kind of cool.
You guys were all in here talking, and I forgot to mute the speakers. So my wife's been listening to you and kind of freaked out because she couldn't figure out if my son left the TV on or if
Or there's somebody in the house.
going on. And it turns out it was you guys talking.
That Mike Mullis Xbox One fanboy was in the house.
Right.
Next time I'm gonna go. Blah.
Right. You got to start making. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. Anyway, Twitch Prime. It is so when it attaches to your Amazon Prime account, you get ad-free viewing. So, you don't have to watch that beginning ad anymore. You get some exclusive emotes and a chat badge and free game loot every month. So
You
they're
get
actually
free
giving
2-day delivery on your Twitch streams too.
Yes.
That's nice.
And so it also, when Twitch Prime members use their free channel subscription every month, the streamer gets paid just like any other subscription. So people that watch our channel, I think we can start actually monetizing the Twitch channel now. I think, if that's what I caught from that. Anchor, are you any bit interested in Twitch stuff? Do you?
Not particularly. I don't do it that much anymore. Tried for a bit.
Okay. All right. So that's one of the big things that they were doing. And of course, it also gives you it gives you some of the stuff that's in Turbo, but not everything. So there are some things that if you still do the paid subscription, you get. I'm not quite sure everything. The one thing that we can't do yet is we have to be a partner to do teams, and that's something that everybody knows why I'm not on Beam right now. That's the one thing Beam does that Twitch kind of makes you have to earn, and I think they need to make that a base feature, since that is a base feature in Beam. So
yeah, maybe it's just a matter of time.
it may be. I know we will be down for that once it happens.
Competition pushes one to get ahead of the other, so they'll just constantly flip back and forth with features and stuff. So I can't wait to see what's coming up in the next couple of years with features on Twitch and Beam and all that.
Yeah. So let's see, the next thing that they introduced, and this isn't even the biggest one. This is I would say the second biggest one, is auto hosting. So on Beam, you could host another stream if you wanted to, but you had to go in and you have to manually, you have to be in the channel that's doing something, and you have to click host. Twitch took that a step further and allows you to build a list of channels that you want to auto host. When that channel hosts something, if you are offline, you will automatically rebroadcast their stream.
Oh, nice.
So,
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, so
Such a nice.
I haven't gotten on the Twitch page recently. I'm gonna get on there as soon as Rosh Hashanah is over and I can get back to kind of my regular routine. I'm gonna, of course, add all the NLG Twitch channels, whether it's Drake's or HTK's, Madzu's, and a couple others that Short Pause, the guys over at Short Pause, which of course is Frankie's other home. Those guys have added us to their auto hosting, so we're going to do the same. There is a couple of other streamers that I've been talking to that are adding our channel to their auto hosting, and we're going to kind of do it back. And of course, anybody who does stream that wishes to want to do some auto hosting, cross auto hosting, come check, just come to any of us. It doesn't have to be me. It can be Peter or Joe or Jason, and we'll get you into the auto hosting, and then that's how it's cool, because
Work together to grow to a giant community of gamers.
Right. That's how and that's their whole point of it. And I think it's neat that you don't have to be on the page that's streaming to host it. As soon as another channel that's in your auto hosting stream goes live, if you are not live, it'll rebroadcast. And I think that's really cool. So that is I call that the second biggest feature. The biggest feature, and now I don't kind of follow this hyperbole, but I have seen a couple of people kind of call this a YouTube killer. I don't think it's going to be a YouTube killer, but I think it is going to put a little pressure on YouTube. You can now upload videos to Twitch.
Nah, it's going to be the knife in and twist it kind of effect.
Well, they're doing two things here. So they're not only allowing uploads, but they're also, for non-partners, they're going to increase the transcodes. So instead of 720p 60, you could do 1080p 60, like you could do on YouTube.
Nice.
So you could upload. Yeah, so you could upload Twitch videos from your video from the video manager, and unlike streams, which are only good for 15 days unless you make a highlight clip, uploads are indefinite. So they don't go away. And you can actually, so what we could do is we can download our streams that because one of the things that's been difficult for me is to try to, as fast as I can, get all the content that that Yaris and Pookie make and get them over to the YouTube channel. We may not have to do that anymore because we could convert their streams to videos that then save and stay in Twitch forever. So right now this is an open beta, and you know, how much we'll use it is going to be interesting. You know,
Dabble in it a little bit till you know you get used to it. If you really like it, then you use it exclusively or whatever.
It's another avenue for us to get our videos out, but obviously because the podcast is on YouTube, you know, YouTube still is kind of our primary video delivery.
You can always post the podcast onto Twitch like afterwards.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you know, there's more than one place to watch our lovely faces show up on your computer screen.
Ooh, you are so smart.
Me so smart.
I
SMRT.
didn't
SMART.
Think of that.
I thought you thought of that.
No. This is why you guys are so awesome. Aren't they awesome, Anchor?
Jason's all right, man. He has his moments. I don't know about him though. He's a little crazy in the
Aren't
head.
these guys awesome? This
I'm
is
not
why,
crazy. That's crazy one.
See why you hired them.
This is why, right?
Hey, we're not getting paid to think here.
Yeah. We're not getting paid at all.
Yeah, we're not getting paid at all.
That's why we appreciate all of the developers that do support us, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to cover their stuff.
Oh yeah.
So that is that. I mean, that is a huge new feature for them, and that now that you have said that, that is something that could be a boon for us, because I can download the podcast on YouTube, and I could upload it to Twitch and have a whole other place for people to see us.
Oh yeah.
So
Such a nice.
yep. And then they're expanding their HTML5 stuff. The whole thing about HTML5, which is the thing that I think Beam does so well, is the delay between your stream and chat, or your stream and what the live stream versus what's rebroadcasted, and the HTML5 for Twitch is getting them closer to that as well. So I think
that's nice.
right now for me, the only thing that's left, other than Teams, I would like for them to make Teams a free thing, or put it or make it part of Prime, make it part of Twitch Prime. The other thing that I would like to see them do is co-streaming. That's the part that I think would, I mean, that would be the icing on the cake.
That'd be
for
a
us.
terrible feature.
Icing.
It would only be a terrible feature for you, Drake.
Everything's
You
terrible
hear-
for Drake.
Notice how I always open up my mouth, and every time I get a.
Yeah, as soon as he opens his mouth, it's like,
Frankie
oh,
has
what's he
taught-
gonna say now?
Frankie's taught me how to do that.
Sounds like he's trying to clean off his glasses or something like that.
That damn Drake. So, some really cool stuff coming out of Twitch, and I mean, it's going to benefit us, because we really have kicked up our Twitch usage, and it's a great place for us to bring our games. And it would be nice to be able to do Heutink at 1080p rather than 720, because that's a 1080p game. It would be nice to be able to do Forza Horizon. Well, we can do. Actually, we can. I think we're able to do 1080p 30 on Twitch. I think that has worked. But it would be nice to be able to bring better streams. Because what we do, the reason that we still use YouTube as the primary delivery is because, for at least Jason and Peter and I, we're not taking that stream and moving it to YouTube. We're using our capture card master copies, which are much, much higher quality, and using that on YouTube. Which, by the way, another reason that we, that this channel is for you guys and not for us. We have made investments, like out of pocket investments in our in getting capture cards and getting the Elgatos and that kind of stuff. And well, you have the Razor, right, Jason? Is that what?
No, I got the Roxio game cap page.
Roxio.
I like to, get an Elgato so that way I can get the 1080p 60 frame, capture. Like, if I want 60 frames, I got to drop it down to 720p, and it's a pain. So
right, but I mean, even at that, I mean, so you've invested in that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Crazy Juan is invested in a capture card, which is what he uses for.
I'll be getting one soon.
But Joe's gonna, we're investing so that we can make sure that the content that you guys are seeing on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, is top quality. So, that's again just another reason why the NLG channel is by the gamer for the gamers. How I like to.
Oh, by the way, another thing that I wanted to mention too. We just got like 2 or 3 people that have joined since we've been doing the podcast in our group for the club on Forza.
Oh, fantastic!
Nice.
Yeah, it's just growing, man. Yeah. Yesterday we had 40.
But now we have like 150 apparently.
Yeah, I looked on my list and I was like, it says there's like 90 messages, and I'm like, oh my god! And then I just keep scrolling down, and there's people that have joined, and I'm like, oh my god,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's not just that. We have, of course, we have our NLG Club on Xbox Live and our original Next Level Gaming community on PS4, which you guys can, any of you guys can join on either console. We have the NLG, of course, we have the podcast, the subscription for YouTube, the Twitch, we got all this stuff going on. So there's plenty of places for you guys to get involved with us and to interact with us. We will never turn down. I don't think we ever turn down anybody who wants to game with us.
Nope. People freely join our group or like party chat, and we talk with them, and
and so
having a good time.
Yeah, and we game with them.
As long as you're courteous and not a dick.
If you're Drake, we kick you out.
Right.
Yeah, of course. I always get kicked out. I'm gonna go cry in a corner real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, last thing, and then we're going to call it a night. So I alluded to this earlier. Yes, there has been a lot of talk about No Man's Sky, and there's been a lot of, this thing going on with where it's like Carmen Sandiego, where in the world is Sean Murray, and
where's Waldo?
He's hiding with Drake in the corner.
Right, crying. And look, there's some legitimate, things that have happened in this game. The PC, we don't know any stats on the PS4 version, except that it made a lot of money on the game on the digital store, and it was the top MPD game of the previous month. So I mean, obviously, it has sold well, but user interaction on PC has dropped to
like 10,000, I think I seen was the latest
a horrible
number.
amount. And now, on top of all of that, the PC version on Steam, there's a UK-based advertising standards authority, which has launched an investigation into the game on Steam because there are people that are complaining, as they had been complaining since the game came out, that the game does not represent what they were sold. And now there's even, the reason that they're being investigated is because there are images even now and things that they're pointing out that aren't even what the original demo had. I don't remember if you guys had seen it, but there was like it was a funny video that had come out that was, some guy had done where he compared these beautiful creatures that you were going to find from the E3 demo.
Oh yeah, I've seen that video.
Yeah, to some blob kind of thing that you factually found on the planet. So, I mean, they're
and a
actually
zebra upside down, like walking on its head or something like that, and it's like, what the hell is this?
So, what they are investigating are, and I'm just reading it off of Engadget because they were not Engadget. They had a thing on it, but I think Eurogamer was the first to talk about it. Disparities like the UI design, flowing water, and aiming systems. That it lacked features displayed in the press video, like animals interacting and crashing through environmental underbrush or large-scale space battles. So, what do you guys? I mean, do we care? That's the first thing. Is do we care?
He made a mistake of saying this is stuff that it's going to be in the game, but he never said like it's not in there now. Like if he had said it's not in there yet, it would have been like, all right, we can wait. But he said like it's in the game, it's there.
Yeah, the multiplayer thing was a big one. I mean, that's a big one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if he's done in terms of like he's not going to make games anymore, but I think everyone like his reputation is highly tarnished.
Yeah. All his credibility is out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those dirty pair of socks I threw out there earlier. They were horrible, man, I tell you.
Had holes in it.
They had holes and they smelled. They smelled bad, like No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Well,
do I got to do it again? Marvin Martian shooter?
I got the code. It was all mine. Ha ha ha.
So Jeff Keighley said that Sean was open to coming on his new podcast and talking to him. So I think if that happens,
Kickstarter game.
Yeah, I think he would fail.
One Man Sky.
So I think if that happens, that will make some news. I just wanted to bring it up because it was news. I just did it. I don't know. I mean, from a perspective of false advertising, where do you guys sit on that? We all know how we feel about No Man's Sky, but I mean, this is different. I can't think of another game that's actually had this much not only negative connotation to it, but now is being actually investigated by an agency for false advertising.
Well, I'm
like
glad
we always talk about. We always talk. We always see it. We don't talk about it, but we always see when people, false advertising. Oh, false advertising. This is the first time I think I've seen an agency actually pick up the mantle of investigating false advertising. So, from that perspective, where are you guys on this?
I mean, it's kind of about time. I wish it kind of happened with sorry, am I cutting you off, Madzu?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'm just typing here.
All I was going to say is I think it's about time that something did happen because, I mean, a lot of early access games have been taking advantage of people. And they make you think, oh, it's this great experience, and really it's not. And there's a lot of things with early access that are very flawed. Not necessarily the Xbox early access aspect of it, but in terms of like Steam, like early access and all that kind of stuff. I just really it's been kind of like this wild west of video games with self-policing, which I am in firm support of self-regulation, but at the same time, people take advantage of that. And people think they can just do whatever they want, and gamers be damned.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I'm actually glad they're being investigated. Maybe it'll curb any future, developers from doing the same thing. Because I don't want to hear, this is going to be in the game, this is going to be in the game. You're going to be able to shoot monsters and aliens and all this stuff, and then you're just throwing rocks at a trash can. That's what the game is.
Right. And
I don't want that.
A racing game.
Yeah, it's actually a racing game, throwing rocks at a trash can while you're driving around. Oh, you got to get in it. Oh, I missed.
I'm still curious, if it was Sony or the developer,
Well, Fastback actually asked that question. Do you guys think Sony is also at fault?
Probably had a hand in it, in my opinion.
I don't think a lot.
It's probably pressure for releasing it, and
I do because they tried to say that they were fully responsible for it, and they tried to back them and put their people inside the studio and help out, and then they tried to price it as a AAA title. So I mean, that's the thing. It's definitely with them too. They were responsible. They must have seen the product, and they still decided to go through with it like that.
Well, you wonder how much. See, and this is where I've been having trouble with this. Yeah, it's not necessarily like Sony's name is on the game. When you fire up the game, it says Sony Computer Entertainment America, or whatever they're Sony Interactive Entertainment America presents. So they've got their name on it. And when they were in the last throes of their interviews, you know, we knew that Sony had handlers with Sean Murray, because the minute somebody asked if they were going to make an Xbox version, the handler stepped in and said no comment. So, you know, how much did Sony really know about what was going on, and why didn't somebody say to them, "Hey guys, are you really?" You know, I can't imagine that they were sitting there in Hello Games like there was somebody stationed there that watched every bit of development. But at some point, they had to have shown Sony a build of the game, and Sony, I would think, have had to have asked, "Hey guys, is the online thing that you talked about really going to be in there? It's not, and maybe you should clarify."
Oh, that's why they put a sticker on it, right? No?
Yeah, we'll just put a sticker on the package.
I don't know though, because with the Sony, I give them like maybe 10% of the blame. They gave Hello Games a huge spotlight. I mean, when was the last time an indie developer went on Stephen Colbert or any like night show like that?
Kudo was on. Kudo went on a lot. Kudo Sonoda. They always had that. Like Jimmy Fallon, before he went to the Tonight Show, always had that because he was a geek guy. So he always had that stuff on.
Yeah, but I mean, it's you don't see that very often. But like Sony gave Hello Games a huge platform, multiple E3, a bunch of demos, all this stuff. They gave him a huge platform. And I don't think.
And they gave him a waffle maker too.
Testing for it. I mean, it was like, oh well, the game's so big. This just happens to be a plant that doesn't have all this stuff that is supposed to be in the game. It's like, well, it's in there. Don't worry about it. And I can't believe Sony has that firm of a release date, given every other game that's been delayed from them.
Well, but the problem is that game was delayed so much. I think they had to. I think there was not much choice. They had to. They had to hit. They had to get something, and they had to hit it, and they had to stick to it.
But I don't know about that. I mean, look at Last Guardians. They just delayed that for another few months. So.
But it could have managed the expectations a little better, though.
I mean, all I'm saying about it though is just that I don't think Sony was like, we're gonna baby them. We're gonna know every little thing. I think there was some level of surprise that the stuff that wasn't there really wasn't there.
It's still, to me, and it's still their responsibility. Once you plaster your sticker on there, your name on there, it is completely 100% your responsibility, and it is your fault for anything that happens after that once you have placed your label on it. That's why they should have paid closer attention to it. So I blame them wholeheartedly for it.
Well, and let me bring this up. Nobody has brought this up yet. We all know the Master Chief Collection, the Halo Master Chief Collection was, all intents and purposes, broken. I mean, broken. Like, people were, I'm surprised that was not under investigation, how broken it was if you tried to play it.
Well, yeah, but No Man's Sky wasn't broken. It just was.
Well, right.
There wasn't an advertising issue with that.
No. But follow me on it. Follow me on this, because what I'm getting at is several different development houses. Like, that wasn't an internal 343i game. The Halo 3 was done by one development company, I think. Everybody I can't remember all the development houses, but there were 4 different development houses that were responsible for putting this game together and making it work on a modern console, bringing forth engines and blah blah blah. The game was broken as hell. Everybody knows it.
Yep.
But who got the brunt of the blame and the brunt of the whose credibility took a giant hit? And you can say that it did. It was 343i, and to an extent Microsoft. Why? Because it didn't matter how many other development companies actually worked on the game and didn't get it right. 343i's name, Bungie's name, wasn't even on the game. Bungie didn't even get a sniff of of blame for this because their name wasn't on the game. 343i's name was on the game, and because of that, they got hammered for that, even though 343i had almost nothing to do with the development. The same thing kind of can apply here. I mean, no, it wasn't a Sony developed game, but Anchor's right, man. And Joe is right. They slapped their name on it, and they touted it as a first person title, a first party title.
And you know what will happen, right? If it was like extremely successful, they'll be the first one saying like, "Yeah, it's our game."
No,
that's the thing though. Like I said, literally once you have placed your name on something, it doesn't matter how little or how much attention you have paid to what is going on, you literally are responsible for every single thing that goes on there after that, especially when you're the one who is repping it as a AAA title and when it's really an indie, and just like praising it like that. And they did a lot of advertisements for it and whatnot, so that lays on both of them. Sony is just at fault as they were, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, no. Ultimately, Shuei Yoshida was not the one out there having interviews about the game and talking the game up. Obviously, Andrew House was not the one out there doing these interviews, telling people what was in the game. Sean Murray was the one out there.
Interviews,
right?
That's the real question.
Yeah, Hello Games, I believe bears the brunt of responsibility for the game as it stands. I think that Sony shares some responsibility.
Oh, they got a chunk of it anyway.
For a game that they put their name on. It would have been like if Sunset Overdrive was in this way, where where it was not as advertised. Insomniac Games would take the brunt of responsibility, but Microsoft Game Studios slapped their name on it. So you would expect that Microsoft would take a hit from it too.
I don't know. Was it approved by HTK? Does it have that satisfaction approval sticker on it?
Yeah.
If it did, we have to blame HTK too.
Right.
That's how many smiles he gave it.
By the way, real quick, and then we're going to wrap up. Speaking of Sunset Overdrive, just a real quick little mini thing. I was under the impression that Sunset Overdrive was Insomniac's IP. And so you kind of figured that at some point it might, even though Microsoft Game Studios published the Xbox version of it, that might come to PC. There might be a deal that expires that brings it to PlayStation. It doesn't look like it. It looks like Microsoft has some sort of control over Sunset Overdrive. The reason
I think namely with that one, that was the publishing rights, like the entire publishing rights of the first one.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. So Insomniac said two things. The first one's kind of the more obvious thing that somebody had asked on Twitter. Or they had put out that they somehow. Okay. Insomniac had tweeted out that apparently people are trying out the game again with their Xbox One S. So they tweeted out, "Hey, we're glad to see all these new Xbox One owners with the Xbox One S checking out Sunset Overdrive." Somebody asked, if there was ever a possibility to put it out on PC. So now this is the more obvious answer that they gave was, well, that would be something we would definitely love to do, because of course they are making some PC stuff now, but Microsoft would have to sign off on it. So the I can understand that. That's kind of like Remedy with Alan Wake. They had to kind of give permission. Somehow in the conversation, somebody had asked about a sequel, and they said, "We would love to do a sequel, and insinuated that Microsoft would have to go for it. Because obviously a sequel could be a PlayStation game or a multi-platform game. I mean, Insomniac has kind of gone home, except for Song of the Deep. But they've obviously gone back to PlayStation for Ratchet and Clank, and they've gone to PlayStation for Spider-Man, which is exclusive to the PS4. They've gone, Song of the Deep is multi-platform, so they pretty much abandoned Microsoft exclusivity. But Sunset Overdrive 2 would require Microsoft's approval, is what it sounds like. So, I don't understand what the holdup would be. I think Phil needs to say, yeah, let's do that. And B, what's the real deal with his IP?
It might have been that Microsoft bought the publishing rights to the entire IP, the whole thing. And I don't think maybe maybe Insomniac didn't think that they were going to even do a sequel or anything like that.
Yeah, but how is that different than owning the IP itself? I guess maybe just in the fact that
how much you get paid.
What good is it owning an IP and not having the publishing rights?
Yeah, I guess that's the truth. Because otherwise, they could take, like with Quantum Break, if they wanted to, which it's a tragedy. Right. It's a tragedy that they're going to drop Quantum Break as an IP because, ridiculous reasons. But you're right. They could bring Quantum Break in-house. They could get one of their in-house people to do it. They could get another developer to do it. For Sunset Overdrive, Insomniac's the only one that could do it.
You're the only business in town.
So. Well, because they own the IP. So if Microsoft wants a Sunset Overdrive 2, they can only go to Insomniac. So I guess I could see it that way.
Yeah, Insomniac says they get to name their price, essentially, saying, you want to have it? All right. Here's
or they don't want to do it. They can say F you.
Yeah. Well, I would think if Microsoft's going to pony up the money like they did for Sunset Overdrive 1, of course they would do it.
Yeah, but what if their relations are very...
I don't know. HTK, would you turn down money?
That bad.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it's that bad. I think...
accepting money from the devil, who knows?
Nah, I don't think it's that. I think they were
accepting money from the in-laws.
They were very happy to work with Microsoft on Sunset Overdrive, and look, they're happy to. The reason that they were asked to do Spider-Man and they were asked to do Ratchet and Clank because who else was going to do Ratchet and Clank but Insomniac? You think they were going to give that to? You think they were going to give that to Sony Santa Monica? No,
I could have done it.
They were only going. They were only
guaranteed
going
the game will be basically unplayable, but I could do it.
No. Now, as Jabril's saying in the chat room, we kind of all thought that Sucker Punch was doing Spider-Man, but
yeah, I know. I said that was bunk, but don't believe me.
Don't believe Anchorman.
Nobody believes Anchorman.
So, I mean,
it's not like he does news or anything.
Well, Spider-Man has a certain comedic charm to him that Insomniac could pull off that Sucker Punch may not be able to. I think that, especially based on the new Avengers Spider-Man, I think there's a development team that can do it and a development team that can't. Insomniac has the ability to do that kind of humor. But even at that, I mean, they came to Insomniac to do the game. So if I were Microsoft, of course I would want to do another Sunset Overdrive. I don't think it was you know how I've railed against Xbox gamers not buying new IPs, but in Sunset Overdrive's case, I think that if they brought out a sequel, I think that they would get better play out of it because now you're established. You've got a place to go with it, and you can improve. There's a lot you can improve in that game. I think there's no doubt about that. There are some things you can do that they didn't do in the first game, and you can expand it to a point to where you can mainstream it a bit. I'd jump at another
I
Sunset
know
Overdrive.
quite a few people.
Oh, and the only thing Sunset Overdrive needs for me is full online co-op
Yep.
with the campaign.
And that's what I'm talking about.
I know quite a few people who literally they didn't want to purchase that game. I purchased it, but I got the season pass version of it. But I know quite a few people who didn't want to because they were concerned that it was not going to warrant a second game, and they said the reason why they weren't going to buy it is because they didn't want to get attached to the characters or, a game like that in general, and then they're not coming out with another one of it. And I guess it didn't warrant another one, like you guys were saying, right? Because I never paid attention to it. I had it. I didn't even know if it sold well or not. I didn't pay attention to that at all.
I don't think they've actually come out and said what the sales were. They said it did well. Like that's Insomniac's words. And I mean, I'll believe them.
Probably well enough.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I kind of
not quitting their job well, but
well
enough to pay the bills.
I mean, Brandon Winfrey left Insomniac to go to. I think he went to Machinima. Did he go to Machinima?
Yeah, he did, and I was like, I remember one day I watched, and I was like, what is he doing here? He was plastered all over the screens in freaking Sunset Overdrive. Like, they could not get enough of that dude, and every week you'd see like new things up there on the screen.
Oh, let me tell you, man, I loved that series.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
My two favorites were he had Major Nelson on one night as the guest, and he had Jessica Chobot one night.
Oh wow! Yeah, I didn't see that. He was really good. He made the humor to the game, like, definitely. Whenever you walk up to those little screens and see it,
I don't know. So who knows? But they're open to it, and that's more than I thought. See, I don't understand their mentality. I don't get, Microsoft sits on some great IPs that they just absolutely refuse to touch again. I mean, we've already pretty much been told there's not going to be another Quantum Break, and Remedy has.
That I didn't see that. Where was that at?
Phil's pretty much said that. It was Phil or Aaron, one of the two, pretty much.
Well, it was an expensive product to make, and I don't think that it sold half as well as they thought it should have.
And nobody,
Definitely.
can look at me. I bought 2 copies. Well, I won a copy and I bought a copy, but still, I have 2 copies.
I bought it day one.
Yeah, I had it day one.
Yeah, me too. Day one.
Yeah, day one.
But these are games that, I mean, it's not just that one. It just I don't get it, and I don't know.
He's getting flustered, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
I have an issue with it because it's such a good game and it deserves better than it got. Quantum Break deserved better than it got. These are titles that, but at the same time, people are itching for a baseball game and they're sitting on a baseball IP with High Heat that they bought from 3DO that he just refuses to use. People ask him all the time about a new Voodoo Vince. He won't touch it. There are so many IPs that they could go back to revisit that they just refuse to. And then they get these one-offs like Quantum Break and Sunset Overdrive and things like that.
They do all the work of laying down the foundation and do nothing.
With it.
I'll be honest with you. Like you guys already know, I'm a huge Xbox gamer in general, and I could be the first to admit that, definitely when it comes down to it, PlayStation players definitely support their IPs way more than Microsoft players. It seems like, because the only thing that's supported from Microsoft is like Halo, Gears, like the typical stuff. As soon as a new IP comes out, they don't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole at all. And that kind of gets irritating because, like you said, Sunset Overdrive, great game. It had a lot of, perks to it and whatnot, but it was irritating because it seems like no matter what Microsoft does, they can never win. Like people say, "Oh, I love the game," and then next thing you know, they're actually people who just watched videos on it and they never even bought it, and then they're like, "Oh man, I can't wait for a second one," and they never even had played it. They just watched videos on it. There's just a bunch of people who are like that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, my big issue with Quantum Break is I felt like they were missing one more power, something to tie it all together, and they just never came together.
I liked how the game ended, though. That was funny, man. How you thought it was going to end, and then it didn't. The game was great.
All right. So I'm just typing in the chat room.
Not allowed to type.
You know,
Don't type.
that's my rant. I don't know why they do it. You know, they are exactly what people call them is a Halo, Gears, and Forza factory, and you know, it remains to be seen how. You know, I'm legitimately. Who knows how well Recore did, and I'm legitimately concerned for other games like Scalebound and Sea of Thieves.
Something tells me. I feel like something tells me that Recore did decent despite all the crap that people were talking about it. Something's telling me that it did better. I think there are still a lot of people who are still saying that they're going to wait for the bugs to get patched, which they are. They're getting patched pretty freaking quick, honestly. So if any of you guys were on the edge on whether or not you guys wanted to buy it or not, I think now is a good time because the load screens are not bad at all anymore.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. All right, guys. So we have gone 3 hours.
Alrighty.
I think it's time to
Watch Lord of the Rings tonight. No.
One last thing.
No more last things.
No. This is special.
And then-
This is special.
Yeah. All right.
I was teasing you at the beginning, but I thought I'd let you all know. An anonymous donor has given me a code for Forza Horizon 3 to give away. Standard edition.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be giving that away in a couple weeks. I don't know how yet, but when we hit over 600 subscribers, I'm giving that away.
Nice.
Very nice.
There's our goal. 600 subs, and Forza Horizon 3 will be in somebody's library.
Very nice. Very nice. I kind of thought when you said it had to do with the Warthog code. I kind of thought it might be that. Whoever was the anonymous donor for that, we thank you a million times. That's great. So, all right. So before we roll out, Anchor, thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate you jumping in.
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I told you, man. It's open invitation. You don't have to ask. You don't have to wait for an invite. Just ask if you can come on.
Yeah, I don't like this Star Trek weirdo. Don't let him on again, please.
Anchorman makes me sad. Look at his avatar. That makes me sad.
Oh, but he's smiling at you.
Yeah, so
All
he's
right,
a happy fella.
Smiling.
Anchorman
He needs
is
a beard.
from the great folks over at the Inner Circle. Tell us all about it.
We're part of my name's Anchorman, part of the Inner Circle Network. We do a lot of different content on Monday. Tomorrow, actually today, I guess, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we do the Multiverse podcast. We have lots of new content coming out. The rest of the week, we have Super Pod Shots on Wednesdays. We got Tick Podcast alternating with Top Shelf on Fridays. Actually, this week it's going to be Top Shelf, so I got to put together a show for that, which should come out to be pretty interesting. That's pretty much it. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, Anchorman V2, or TIC_podcast, or the Inner Circle Network.
Awesome. So, yep, they're great. I've been, trying to talk to Cal about doing some cross promotion stuff. So, obviously, you've had us on Multiverse. I know Mazu was on last week. Was it last week, right?
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah.
He was such a mystery guest, even he didn't know.
Yeah, I come on.
He was on there, and he's like, wait a minute, where am I?
I come on, I just say hi. Next thing you know it, check your Twitter. Check my Twitter. Here's a link. Oh, okay.
I'm offended I haven't been offered to be on there yet. I mean, I am the most compelling out of all you guys. So.
Wait, whoa. You were on
A couple months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were, because you and I were on.
Yeah, we were on together. That was the first podcast I actually ever did, because
It
before
is.
then I was telling you guys that I was not interested in it whatsoever.
And now look at you.
Well, I only do it
Lies.
because of the people that are our viewers. That's it. Like, otherwise than that, like I told you, I have other things in my life that I could be doing right now, especially with this move. But I love all the viewers that we have and how peaceful they are.
I
So-
should be asleep right now, but we're still up.
I
for that
should be
exact reason.
asleep.
All right, so Anchor, thanks a ton. To Crazy Juan and Frankie, who Crazy Juan was on earlier, and Frankie jumped in. He was not slated to be on this week. He will be back next week. Regular host. But for him to jump in for a few minutes, and he's been in the chat room, so whatever he's been cooking, he's been able to at least continue to chat with us. So
By now, 3 hours.
yeah. So
Well, maybe he has 6 courses. Might take a while.
6-course meal. Yeah. Where's my food?
I know. I put the entire code for nuts and bolts into the chat room. So if you guys want to scroll through it, first one to grab it. I figure if no one grabs it by tomorrow night or the next day, I'll just put it up on. We'll do a Gleam or something for it. But otherwise, one of you guys scroll back through and see if you can get all the code. It's in there.
There's 2 codes, actually. I posted one, too, from Digital Wildfire. Shout out to
That's
him.
confused.
Yeah.
Has it been used?
No, they're going to be confused.
Oh, they're confused.
They're
Oh,
gonna put a mixture of codes.
Well, no. His was on
mine
the
was all.
line.
Yeah,
Mine was throughout the podcast. By the way, Jabril Madzu, Jabril says let him hold that code for a minute for Forza 3.
No. I already said laugh out loud no in chat. So
Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys, Jason, Joe, and Peter, for once again being the rock and the heart and soul of NLG, and now part of the regular podcast crew. I love it.
It's fun again.
Yeah, it is. And to everybody in the chat room, once again, sometimes it's just fun to just watch, because it's game talk and good stuff and good people that can actually be in there together and have great conversations. And you know what? I happen to know that they all have different preferences and different consoles that they own and things like that. There's Xbox gamers in there.
no love for
PlayStation.
Wii U in there.
No love for Nintendo, but soon there will be some Nintendo love soon. It's coming. They can't duck us forever.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully.
So, but we got PlayStation gamers in there. We got Xbox gamers in there. We got PC gamers in there. So I love the mix that's in there, and everybody can get along and have a great time, and I love it.
It's
So-
such a nice.
Such a nice.
Because at
All
the
right.
end of the day, we're gamers, not freaking warriors.
Thank you. That's exactly the sentiment. So, as always, like and subscribe to the channel, like this podcast. I have not seen how many token dislikes we've got, so if somebody wants to check that for me. I think we had one.
We got 3.
We have 3 dislikes?
Soon to be 4.
Hey, let me say my thing real quick. Thanks for the view.
Right.
Yeah,
Damn.
because they stayed for 3 hours to hear that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, man, 3. That means we're growing. So thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe to the video. Give us the comments below. If you hit that dislike button, why don't you tell us why? If you got the guts, tell us why. As long as you're respectful about it, we'll listen. If you've anything that you want to talk about that we talked about tonight, please put it in the comments. Excuse me. We'd be glad to talk to you about it, and maybe even bring it up in the next podcast if it's something really, really heavy. Check us out on Twitter at OG_NL Gaming, and all of our personal Twitters are in the description for everybody. And I'll add Anchor, I'll add yours in later on. Check us out on Twitch with all the great Twitch stuff that we just talked about tonight. Is also OG_NL Gaming. And that is going to do it for us. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful week. To my fellow Jewish gamers, Lashana Tova, have a wonderful New Year. Happy Rosh Hashanah. To everybody else, you have no idea what I just said. It's okay. Have a great week. We will be back regular time Sunday night, 9 p.m. as lovely Diego's ad for us says. So have a great week. Have a great weekend. Play on, gamers.
Have a good night, everyone.
Out.